We was beat up by a Bible salesman and banished from Woolworths. Welcome to the Sunday Movie Marathon. I'm Wooly the Woolworths.
I'm Chris.
I'm Bible Basher.
I used to get called Bible Basher at school because I went to a Catholic school. So.
Did you do it?
Well, I bash a Bible?
Yeah.
No, I never bashed a Bible.
Well, unwarranted names.
Have you even read the Bible?
Against our very special guest, Kai.
I've read some of it, not all of it.
He's read some
It's
of
a
the
long
Bible. It is a long book. Read the children's Bible. They just condense everything down.
Yeah, that's what I read as a kid.
Nice.
I read the kids' Bible.
Yeah.
With the funny pictures and no blood.
Of the ark getting drowned or whatever.
Yeah, the Bible's actually fucked up.
Yeah, I went to church for a little bit as a kid, and I was like, this isn't what the children's book's like.
No.
This is like horrible.
Why is he doing this to us? We're supposed to like this guy?
He has his reasons.
Well, you know who else had their reasons? Us, on the Sunday Movie Marathon, coming at you every Sunday to bring you more movie discussions and all that. This episode, we have Kai on as guest to reprise his role from the Lost Goncharov episode and hopefully bring us some movies that we can talk about that won't be corrupted by Scorsese.
Yeah, so don't fuck it for us, okay?
That sneaky Scorsese.
Although, of course, once more, we are doing one of his movies, so that's,
Yeah. Maybe that's why he corrupted it, because we hadn't spoken about any of his movies for a while.
We did that one time.
No, that's why he's going to come back with
But it was the hidden movie that he didn't want anybody to talk
that's
about.
True.
So, yeah, we've got some movies to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But before that, some more movies to talk about, I suppose. It's going to be a long one, so strap in, kids. It's going to be something all right. Ooh. Chris found out the other day that Kung Fu Panda 4 is in the works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next March, apparently.
Next March, 2024. Feels like way too far in the future to comprehend. But that is what it is, I suppose.
I hate the fact that it's not that far, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but Lincoln, you'll miss it. You'll miss Kung Fu Panda 4.
Shit, we're going to miss
in
it.
the cinemas.
We probably will miss it in the cinema. Our track
we'll
record, to be fair.
We'll be there opening night, baby.
Yeah.
Do they do opening nights for like Kung Fu Panda movies?
Don't think so.
Well,
I swear they
it'll
only
just be
do it for like the
opening day.
big Marvel movies. That's the only ones they do. I could be wrong.
Pretty much.
yeah, I never went to one of those.
Not been to a midnight screening before.
No?
They're not really worth it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm usually asleep in bed.
Yeah, like it.
Very cozy.
I don't recommend them, especially for the movies that I've seen at midnight.
Yeah, I went to a few. I think the Endgame one was the best one I went to, but that was because it like felt like a special moment.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't see like Puss in Boots for a midnight screening.
No. What was the one we saw? Wasn't it Solo? Wasn't that one of the midnight screenings we went to?
Yeah, it was Solo.
That's not a midnight
We hadn't
screening type
even
of movie.
intended to go see it. We were just like, I think it was like 11 o'clock and Connor was just like, should we go to the cinema? So we were like, fuck it, why not?
Awful.
Oof.
Absolutely awful. And I moved out the next day. Oh, fucking dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
But yeah, Kung Fu Panda 4 coming at you soon, I suppose. We're all excited for Kung Fu Panda 4.
I like the movies that I saw. Did I watch all three of them? I don't remember.
You have seen all three of them, as far as I'm aware.
I thought I'd only seen the first and the third one. But
Didn't we watched the second and the third one?
We watched the second and third one.
We watched those together.
right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I have seen all three of them.
And you were like, oh man, Kung Fu Panda 2 is the best movie ever made, bro. We were like, yeah, we know.
Yeah, I probably said something along the
It
lines.
was a
I
pretty
just add
banging
bruv
movie,
onto
to be
it.
fair. Rewatched that on Christmas Day last year. It was great.
Oh, it's top tier DreamWorks, I tell you. They brought out a new movie called Shrek 7, I think?
That sounds about accurate.
The Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Ooh, people are buzzing about this one. A lot of Oscar noms. Well,
only had one Oscar nom.
One Oscar nom.
It's still an Oscar nom at the end of the day.
They did it. Puss in Boots back again for a movie that nobody saw coming, but is sweeping the stages. Oh, they love this movie. Everybody's like, this one's actually good.
It is. It's actually really fun.
This is a good movie. So we all saw it. I suppose, in our different various ways. And Kai told us about the ending the other week. He said the ending was fucked up, man. I don't know, but we'll get into it. So Puss in Boots is back. It's a Western movie. He's got to, he makes friends with a dog, and Kitty Softpaws is back. They got to get the last wish. And with the last wish, you can do whatever you want. And he's dying, man. He's on his last life out of 9 lives because he's a cat. And he's like, I need all my lives back so I can become Puss in Boots again.
Yes.
And it's all about the journey. And it's a Western, and it's about death and suffering.
Jesus.
And
It is really dark.
being a bounty hunter. It's actually fucking sick. It's so cool.
This movie's fucking awesome.
Watch it.
The villain,
It is sick.
the villain of the movie is death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
He's literally deaf, but he's a wolf.
And it's a wolf that is literally death.
Like
That's coming after Puss in Boots
he
throughout the whole
takes,
movie.
to the underworld, like he's like ready.
It's like
He's out here.
It's like one of those like old Western movies about like the guy who's like past it
Yeah.
and he's had his heyday, but he's like going back for one last adventure.
Right, okay.
It's like Shane or Logan or something.
Yeah.
it is very dark.
It is
And
very,
it has a lot of like really dark like adult themes. So when like me and Chris saw this together, we saw it in a theatre packed with children. And the whole time I was thinking, they don't understand why this is important.
No.
They probably didn't.
There's a few kids crying, so they clearly were very traumatized
There's
by the
one
movie.
kid who like walked right directly in front of us and just sort of stood there for a bit.
Yeah.
Sort of stood there.
You just slap him on the back of the head.
Yeah.
Sit down.
Maybe
Almost
he
with
was,
his mum was coming after him. So.
maybe he was just scared. Like if
This
I
was
was a
right
kid,
at the
it
beginning
probably.
of the movie before
Oh.
anything had actually really happened.
Oh, was he okay? Was this kid
I think
okay?
they just like moved to the end of the aisle and sat down there instead.
Oh,
Yeah, you know how kids are. You know, I don't go to a lot of
they're
screenings
renegades,
with
aren't they?
kids in it, but I guess I don't really see many kids movies that you want
No.
to see in the cinema these days.
Well, me and Chris went to see Avatar, or the second Avatar, and everything was fine. And then a dad walked in with 3 kids that were already restless, and then they're about to sit through a 3-hour film. Within 20 minutes, they were running around screaming.
Yeah.
Chris was just like, fucking hell. And then the dad whacks out like 4 pint cans of Stella, kept going out for fag breaks and pisses.
What? Just leaving the kids there?
Just leaving the kids there.
Wow.
Just doing like stale beer burps and blowing them backwards into my face.
And he kept complaining to his kids. He was like, "Can we go now?" And they were like, "No, we need to wait till the end."
It was.
And then we heard him projectile vomiting in the toilet
I
afterwards.
forgot about that.
What a ride.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was great.
Avatar 2.
Parenting 101. Take your kids to see Avatar and get absolutely fucked up.
That is what I'm going to do when,
Well,
I
when
have kids
Avatar
and I'm
3 inevitably
divorced
comes out.
and
Yeah.
Avatar 7 is out,
No, by the time the third one comes out, we'll all be on pensions. Like, it's taken
No,
so
it
fucking
took
long.
him that long to make Avatar 2 so we could churn them out.
Yeah, that is his plan. He's like,
so the next one would come out like in like a year or 2.
it's out 25, I think. But it's
okay, I
like
see what
very
you're getting
deep
at.
in production now.
Okay, I see what
Anyway,
you're saying.
we're not talking about Avatar 2
No, but that's
or
fucking
its
hilarious.
impending sequels. We're talking about Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the sequel to Puss in Boots, which is not a very revered movie. I don't
That
think.
none of us have seen, I don't think.
I've seen it.
I
You've seen
haven't.
it.
Yeah, I've seen it. I don't really remember it though.
Oh, okay.
He's got to do something with Humpty Dumpty.
I've heard it's literally just Rango, but not as good.
Oh, man.
Maybe.
Does it have anything
really
to
couldn't
do
tell you.
with that Kitty Softpaws story? Is any of
She's
that
in
in
it.
there?
She is in it, yeah. She comes back for the sequel.
Yeah, it was.
Then it turns out that her and Puss in Boots were supposed to get married, and
okay,
he
so,
ran out on her.
okay, so that's not
And
in
that's
the
a
first
big
one at
point of
all.
like contention for him. This is weird, man.
It's a very strange thing to put in a kids' movie. It's
Yeah.
like, you left me at the altar. Like,
He like says
Trauma,
about how
mate,
it's like the
trauma.
first time he was properly scared was going to the wedding, so he didn't turn up.
I like the fact that she said, I didn't turn up either. And I was like, fuck, you guys are the
Brutal.
power couple.
Yeah. So
For
this movie
sure.
sort of came about because of Antonio Banderas. I think I've got this article here
Uh-huh.
from a Game Rant. And it says that the actor's own near-death experience after suffering a heart attack in 2017 was part of what drove him to reprise his beloved role, calling it one of the best things that ever happened in my life, as it gave him a new outlook to judge things that I thought were important before, but weren't really. So I suppose that's also just heavily within the film, I think.
Wow,
So-
it's like
Themes about like his own mortality. I
Yeah.
guess he was just thinking about it a lot.
so death came back not for Puss in Boots, but for
Antonio
Antonio.
himself, and by extension, Puss in Boots.
holy moly. To be fair, that's quite a lot of depth to put into a kids
To tell the
movie.
story. But that's why I'm saying, like, it's not like everyone's like, oh, that's a kids movie. Maybe it is, but it's also like a sequel for movies that we grew up with. So is it not also mostly for us?
I think it has to be.
Yeah.
If you put themes like that in a quote unquote
Yeah.
kids movie, you're gonna have people like us going there anyway. Going there,
Yeah.
watching it.
Obviously, yeah, it has its like silly little
Yeah.
jokes for like the kids and all that, and a lot of it is very funny. But you know, they do have to have those jokes for the kids, I guess.
Oh, what, like the
Um,
ones where they're like putting their eyeballs, making them all like, you know, like
Yeah.
they make them the
Look,
eyes
I
all
can
big,
make my
and they're like, oh my
eyeballs
God.
big and cute, and the dog tries to do it. That's maybe the dog. I was like,
The dog is
dog,
cute.
little stupid little sidekick that they've got.
The Dibby of the film.
The little Dibby.
But he's voiced by Guillermo from
Guillermo
the
from-
Shadows show,
yeah.
so
They
he's
call him, yeah.
he's
good.
cool.
I mean, yeah, he is good. I think as the movie went on, I sort of warmed to the character a bit
Oh,
more
yeah, he
as
was
the
well annoying in
themes
the
became
beginning.
a bit
Yeah.
more apparent and sort of what he was about. But it is like, it is sort of everything I wanted from it. Weirdly, so something that I didn't know that I wanted from like a Puss in Boots movie.
I would agree with that, but I think that's because I actually had no intentions of watching it. I just went, Chris, since I'm not watching it with you guys, I need something to talk about. Should I just watch it? And Chris torrented for me, so I watched it right
Mhm.
there. I was eating cereal and I was living the life. I was like, this is fucking great. But yeah, I didn't have any expectations. I was just like, I
No,
don't know
yeah.
what to fucking think of this movie.
I just knew that people were talking about it.
Yeah.
It's getting the
Yeah.
hype.
Yeah,
You know?
I
I
can
heard
kind
really
of see
great
why though.
things, so I did go in with really high expectations and I wasn't disappointed.
Yeah, I could see why people like this. I think you should go watch it, Kai. I think it's fun. It's a good
I
hour and
can't
20
do
minutes
it
of your life.
by myself.
That's
No,
fine,
do
we'll all
what I did. Just don't even go to a cinema and watch it.
Yeah, if I
Don't.
can watch it, I probably won't watch it in the cinema, to be honest.
Insane.
Do you
You're
know what? I'm
insane.
glad I didn't go to the cinema and watch it because I would have felt so uncomfortable in
Yeah.
a cinema just full of children.
Yeah.
I was in my element.
Well, Chris told me that apparently someone called him a paedophile when he went in there.
I heard
so-
like someone say it's a paedophile as we were walking up the aisle.
Oh my gosh.
and that was one of the reasons I didn't want to go.
What?
Exactly.
That's so mean.
It is really mean.
It's stupid as well.
What have you got to be a child to enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I know what people would think if I walked in there by
Yeah,
myself.
but it's like, what do you
No, I
want
know,
from me?
but now to be
Sorry,
able
I
to-
grew up with Shrek at
Exactly.
the age of,
I just
5
I
and
know
6.
what I'm like, and I'd be paranoid the whole time. I'm
Yeah,
out
so would
there
I.
myself.
Like, what do you have to do? Steal your cousin's, like, youngest born or something? Like, oh,
No, I
Do
was
you
like
wanna go see
straight up
Puss?
there as like a film connoisseur. I was like, this is art. And
we should have gone in with, like, press hats.
any time I'm able to go to the cinema to see an animated movie, if it's like really good animation, I want to be there to see it on the big screen. And the animation does not disappoint in this movie. They've changed it up a lot from those older Shrek movies and the Puss in Boots movies, where
Yeah.
it's sort of going for a bit more
Looks cartoony.
not photorealistic as much, but it's like you could see all the individual hairs and all that, and they're trying to make it very hyper stylized.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
see what you
also kind
mean.
of going for kind of like a clear like anime or like
Yeah, it's got
comic
like a
book
comic
sort of
book,
influence.
yeah, 100%.
It reminded me a lot of Spider-Verse at points, the animation.
Definitely. I think that movie paved the way for a lot of like
Definitely.
new animation to come in and just really experiment and do things differently. 'Cause
Yeah.
every shot I was like, this is amazing. And I knew all these tiny little kids, they don't care. They just want to see the cat do a funny trick. They want to see the dog do his eyeballs really big. And that's funny. But yeah, I just thought like it's good to see that they actually cared this
yeah,
time.
no, that I do appreciate that, to be
This-
fair.
DreamWorks are very good, but they have also had a lot of weak movies. But when it's really good, it is really good. You get
Yeah.
your Kung Fu Panda 2s, you get your How to Train Your Dragon 2s, you get your Shrek 2s. They're really good at 2s. And this is another 2 movie,
Yeah.
Puss in Boots 2, to add to the list of really good DreamWorks
Maybe they just need
movies.
to go away and like recoup, and then they just make the best thing known to man.
What
They're
they
like,
need to do is just make a bunch of shit movies for a while and then just do sequels to them all.
That are amazing. Maybe
I
that's the
don't know.
curse. Maybe that's how it works. Maybe
I don't know.
that's the only way forward.
I don't know if that's what I want.
I don't know either, but
I
only
think-
'cause they got a bad rep anyway.
Yeah.
You don't need to do this to them.
I think a couple of years ago I heard that they kind of wanted to basically just reinvent themselves. And obviously with Spider-Verse being as big as it is, it kind of, like you said, it did kind of pave the way for more
Mm-hmm.
like experimental and expressive animation. I think they kind of want to go down that route now. I've heard very good things about that Bad Guys movies in terms of the animation. I think that it kind of goes for quite a stylized sort of look like this one.
Why not though? Like that's the thing about animation. It is the most freeing medium ever. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it. So why
Yeah.
not? The crazier the better.
If I'm seeing an animated movie, I want to see something creative.
Yeah, because
and
something that
I've
humans
not
can't
seen
do.
before.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of it. Whereas I think DreamWorks quite a lot kind of fall into the same like formula quite often. Kind of just everything looks the same. Nothing's really
Quite a lot
great.
of animation
Yeah.
studios are like that though.
Well, definitely.
But only because they this is what happens though, isn't it? They find a formula and it's successful and it works. So they're like, oh, don't stray too far away from this because this works.
This
And
worked
then it's
back
boring.
in 2010 when we did it the first
Yeah.
time. Keep doing it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
controversial opinion, but like I have that problem with Pixar films.
No, that's
Yeah,
not a
no,
controversial opinion, honey.
fine.
That is a lie.
Well, I think we've said that before.
Looking like there's just nothing exciting about it. So
Of course, that's
Yeah,
like I
no,
said. They found it
Yeah,
and they
totally.
said, "This is amazing."
No, we read out the list of nominees for the Oscars on the other episode. Turning Red was nominated for an animated one. I just completely forgot that movie existed.
Same,
Yeah.
but I did think it looked nice.
Yeah,
But then that's it. I
enjoyed
said
that
this
one.
before. This,
it was kind of stylized for a Pixar movie though.
yeah, no, that's
Not like overall where I'm thinking like Puss in Boots too though.
Yeah.
Oh man, every shot was like, this is very interesting what they're doing here.
yeah.
But with Turning Red, it was like, yeah, okay.
But that's
Can't
what you
get it.
expect, isn't it? Yeah.
And also with like Luca, they did Luca, and that was very nice
It was
in
very
terms of the
pretty.
animation, but the story was lacking, I suppose.
Yeah, this is the
And also it just like
argument again,
stays
innit?
the same the
Yeah,
whole way through. You're like,
I think
that's a really nice image.
yeah,
And then it just does that for about 2 hours.
yeah. Pixar's
But with-
really good. We're pretty, but we have no
Yeah.
substance.
yeah,
Well, Puss in Boots, it's like, here's another thing. And they're doing all these different ideas that they've got. In like one of the first scenes, Puss in Boots fights like a giant stone troll, and that looks amazing. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, what the fuck? How are they doing this? Like in the first, in like the beginning, they're really flexing on it, you know. And then he goes to like these different like the worlds, and they're doing like different things with like, oh here, put your hand on this map, and the world changes
Oh, yeah,
depending
that's
on
cool,
who
Yeah. So
is
cool.
touching the map at a specific time, and that also correlates into like, what do you fear the most? And it was about fear and this creeping towards death.
Oh, and
It was-
apparently for the little dog, the lack of fear, he has no fear,
yeah,
none.
I think I also like that they like kind of play around with that whole fairy tale angle because that's something that like the Shrek franchise hasn't really done since the first one. I don't think.
Yeah, that's what it did
Yeah.
well, wasn't it? I fucking hate Shrek.
well,
but
it was
I
like it was
assume-
supposed to be like a parody of all those
Yeah.
Oh,
like
what, the
Disney were
fairy
coming
tale?
out, and they were like, haha, look at us, we're doing our Disney stuff, and it's the Disney Renaissance. And then DreamWorks were like, well, we're making Shrek, and it's kind of taking the piss out of all those old fashioned type of stereotypes and the fairy tales, and like, what can we do with the fairy tales of that people know and
Yeah.
love, but like twisted on its head a bit and parody it.
Yeah. And then like the Shrek franchise kind of just went off and did its own thing. Like the second one's like a parody of like Hollywood.
Yeah,
The second one is actually the only one I like.
that's fair.
Like, legitimately, I love
Yeah.
the second film, and then the others can go away. I can't stand it.
Yeah, they definitely go like heavy into that in this one. Like one of the main characters is like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. They have their own subplot, which I really loved.
Yeah, and they actually flesh her out as a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, you actually find out about her, which is weird because, like, I don't know, when you read the story and stuff, you don't really learn about anything about
Yeah.
her, just what she does, if that makes sense.
It could have just been about Puss in Boots being
It could have
like,
been, yeah.
coming to terms with his own mortality, but it was also about like,
Yeah.
here we've introduced this villain character, Goldilocks. She wants to get her wish to sort of make a family for herself, but what she doesn't realize Is that her family is with the bears where she always was, and like, she has to go through that arc and do that. Like, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
but you did, and it develops the characters and makes you want to watch the movie. And then there's also like that, I guess the main villain is like this Jack guy.
John Mulaney in it.
Yeah, he sounded like John Mulaney.
Yeah, Jack Horner.
That's it, I couldn't remember his name. I was like,
he
that
was just
guy.
like, I liked him because he was just a bastard.
Yeah.
And he knew he was a bastard. He was like, yeah, I'm evil. That was scary. It was great. Yeah.
He has like a huge bag of like magical things, and one of them's Jiminy Cricket, played by someone doing a James Stewart impression.
It's
just
really
on his
funny.
shoulder.
It's so good. It's great. It's I love that. It's like trying to like coach him and like be his conscience. But he's like, no, I'm just a bad guy, like straight up. And he's like, you are a bad guy.
Yeah. He's like
you're
killing
rotten.
all of his like minions, and he's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. He used his own men as a bridge.
Yeah, he's just watching this like destruction. It's pretty sick. There.
It is.
If
It's-
not a little bit annoying. I have like a little like gripe with celebrity actors like voicing
he had quite a few in
themselves
this,
basically.
Like, Goldilocks is played by Florence Pugh.
Mhm.
And Olivia
Which I don't
Coleman's
really-
in it. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
hear
I
them.
didn't know
Olivia Coleman's
beforehand.
like her mum, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ray Winstone's the dad.
Yeah, they're
Exactly.
doing
A
good,
lot of people
good
in
stuff,
there.
honestly.
And you can't tell it's them. And I preferred
Yeah,
that
not
because
really.
all I could hear was John Mulaney. And I was like,
Yeah, John
okay.
Mulaney, he can do his own voice quite well.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's really. I've always had a gripe with that kind of thing, though. It's not just this movie. I hate it in every movie because it takes me out of it a little bit because I'm like, oh, it's that person, and I end up going, oh,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
So they're sort of like teasing something at the end here that Guy
They are.
told us to look out for, and that it was quite funny. Darcy said it was very funny.
I did.
The
I
end.
did a chuckle. I'm not gonna lie, but it was a chuckle because I was like, "Where's this thing that Kai was talking about? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about."
Mm.
And it's like in the last second, I was like, "Ha," and then that was it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just two. And
So
that
I
was
guess
it.
what? Spoilers for Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. When he's like on the boat and he like goes to, he's like, and we're going to see some some old friends, and he
And
goes to like far, far away.
Yeah,
So I guess
there's another
we're sort of
Shrek, maybe.
setting up a new Shrek movie
Yeah.
Or
with that. There's an
new Puss in
insinuation there.
Maybe,
A new what?
or maybe a different Puss in Boots movie. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it'll be another Shrek movie.
Yeah. I think people will flock to the cinemas to see
100%.
Shrek 5.
I would not. I would be the last person in the world to ever watch Shrek
It's
5.
been, what, 12 years since the last one?
Has it really?
Yeah.
I
Wow.
feel old, and
Yeah.
you've got to leave Shrek
2010.
alone.
2010 that came out.
No
Mm.
way.
See that in the cinema.
Yeah, so did I. In 3D.
Yeah.
3D?
They gave you silly little Shrek glasses, didn't they? 3D glasses with the little like ears.
Ah, back in the day.
Yeah.
That also shares some of the
Somewhere.
same themes as Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, about like he's having like a midlife crisis in that movie.
I'm about to have a
Except it's
midlife
not as good.
crisis.
No, it's not as good, but like the themes are a bit more adult, I guess. But in this one, I think they found what they were looking for, and they found their niche. I think if they do a Shrek movie and they employ this kind of animation to it, like more power to them, really.
Yeah. I'd be happy for another one as they actually like justify its existence.
Yeah, I will only see it if, like, well, I don't know. Yeah, if they get the original voice actors back, that would be
Oh,
like
well, yeah, if they're
ideal.
different, that'd be
Otherwise,
weird.
like, no point.
What are any of them doing now?
No, exactly.
I've no idea.
Yeah.
I don't even know who's really in it. Apart
Mike
from
Myers had
Myers.
that Netflix show last
Yeah.
year.
Who else
That's
is in it?
about
I
it.
don't know.
Cameron Diaz and
Oh, yeah,
Eddie Murphy
Cameron
are the
Diaz.
big ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy just sat on his fucking sofa at home waiting for the call.
He's actually been sitting by that
we
phone.
want you to reprise your role as Donkey.
His phone's actually gathering dust because he.
Yeah. Did you see that he came out recently, said he was disappointed that it's not a Donkey spin-off movie? He was like, Donkey's a more interesting character than Puss in Boots.
I don't agree with that, but I would see a
No.
Donkey spin-off movie.
No, like he's wrong.
I like Donkey, but Puss in Boots is better. Like he's a fucking cool
Puss in
assassin
Boots
cat
works
thing.
in a vacuum because he has more going on. He was like a parody of Zorro. And
Yeah,
it was about like the aging of that kind of type of character. But Donkey is just a goofy side character.
Yeah, he's like
Shrek's
the comic
friend.
relief.
Yeah.
was he Zorro? Just before I start.
What,
Yeah,
Antonio
yeah.
Banderas? Yeah, he played Zorro in those like American remakes.
No, I wanted to make sure before I start. I was like, Zorro, interesting, and it just
So
turns
with
out
that
it's just him.
character, I suppose he is parodying
yeah.
himself in a way.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you can laugh about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zorro's pretty funny when he does his thing.
Yeah. Right, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Who are we on to ratings then?
What
For
do you
those
rate
who
it
have
out of?
seen. We'll do it out of Antonio's.
Antonio.
Big up my boy.
Yeah, I like him.
He came back and he really pulled it out of the bag for us.
He did.
Yeah. I
Him and him alone.
really got a lot out of this movie. I had a really great time with it. Yeah, I think this is probably my second favourite movie in the Shrek franchise after Shrek 2. I really loved it. I give it like 9 Antonios out of 10.
Nice. Goddamn. Yeah. I think probably it would go up on a rewatch. But
yeah.
at the moment, I don't know, like, story-wise, it really hits quite the same as Shrek and Shrek 2 for me. But I also grew up with those movies, so they are quite something to me. But this one is probably going to go up, honestly, and it is an interesting movie, and hopefully it heralds a new age for DreamWorks, that they're not like stuck in their ways, they're trying something new, which is more than I can say for a lot of other studios nowadays who just kind of want to be stuck in the past, or like go back to oh yeah, we did this back in the day, we'll do that, we'll reboot that, or here's what worked 10 years ago, we'll just keep doing that. Yeah, I really liked it, and I wouldn't be upset if it won the Oscar either.
I think it will.
Really?
I don't know what it was.
So I'm gonna be
Guillermo del
this.
Toro's Pinocchio.
Actually, yeah, fair enough.
You,
I don't know.
you out of your mind, Christopher.
Yeah, no, Pinocchio.
I'll give it 8 Antonios out of 10. Thank you, Antonio.
Yeah, it was fun. And we'll probably watch again at some point. 8 Antonios out of 10.
Very nice. Watch it when you can, Kai.
It is
I'm
fun.
actually quite intrigued, to be fair. You guys have sold me on it.
It is fun.
I'll check
This
it
is what
out.
this podcast is here to do. We will sell you on any movie that you're not sure about.
Cool.
Unless I absolutely hate it, and then I'll try and talk you out of it.
talk me out of it.
Yeah. Don't worry. We got your back. So we've got another movie we want to talk about. I think we've all seen it. Some of us have seen it a while back, some a bit more recently. But it's
one of us has seen it 3 times.
One of us has seen it 3 times, and
Hey.
maybe another time in the future. But it's the movie Tar, directed by Todd Field and starring Cate Blanchett. Who wants to describe what this movie's about?
How can you describe what this movie is about?
Darcy,
Hi.
you saw it the most recently,
I
didn't
did
you?
see it the most recently. But could I tell you what it was really about? No.
Kai, what's this movie about?
Oh, this is a big responsibility.
Yeah, you can do it.
It's about a character called Lydia Tarr.
Mm-hmm.
Cool name.
It is.
It is, yeah.
She's a composer in like a, is it Berlin? Or
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah, and
She's a conductor, not a composer.
conductor. Yeah, sorry.
I thought she was
conductor.
both, but that was the thing.
She composed. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? We'll let
Yeah,
you go.
fuck it.
Go on.
She's a pretentious music lady.
She is
And
pretentious.
She has a very big ego.
That she does.
She's potentially done some shady shit in the past, and it all kind of comes back to haunt her.
True.
That's
Like
good.
My vague
Yeah.
synopsis for it.
She is this movie is the hashtag Me Too movement. This is
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes there. It goes there.
it do.
I suppose you have to be vague with like a synopsis because so much happens. If you don't want to be spoiled for this movie, don't listen to this. You're gonna spoil it a lot, I think. I'm the one who's seen it 3 times.
It
I
is
saw
true.
it 3 times last month.
And he's gonna see it again.
And I'm gonna see it again. I'm waiting for that 4K, baby.
Yeah, at number 6
Yeah, I was
next
going to
week.
say, I thought you meant number 6, not 4K, but both, I guess.
Yeah,
apply.
both, please. It's insanely good. It's amazing. Like, what the fuck? Not really based on anything pre-existing. I thought it might have been a biopic, but it
I
wasn't.
thought that as well.
This character is just a character. And I think it's something that Todd Field just sort of shat out in the lockdown. He was like, all right.
I don't know how you could just shit
use
this out. Like, it's
Turn
mad.
for it. No, he didn't shit it out, but it was like he wrote it over the lockdown, and I'm like, oh man, what the? There's so much going on in this movie that it's very hard to talk about like everything that needs to be said, because I think a lot of people will have a lot of different interpretations. But personally, I think it's like one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like, straight up, I think it's phenomenal. And of course, I've seen it like 3 times, so I can say that. So, yeah, it's just wonderful. I think like, everything about it is just top tier, top notch cinema. It's what you want.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it is really, really great.
The epitome of conversation starts here.
Yeah.
As someone who did music at university, like the first like maybe hour of the movie, I was watching it just like, yeah, this is exactly what my uni life was like. Just like watching this like lecturer come in and just like say really pretentious shit about composers and criticizing people's opinions on other composers. That was like basically every single one of my lectures.
I don't know how anyone copes with that kind of thing. I'd be like, God, this is so fucking pretentious. Like, just watching that was stressful because I was like, does anyone really give a fuck? I don't mean it in that way, but like when they're talking about like these different composers, like there was that person she was talking to near the beginning, and was like, oh no, I don't listen to them. They're too problematic, and I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this.
The kid at the beginning, when she was trying to she was doing like a lecture,
and
to a bunch of students.
They were composing something.
Is it Bach? He said, yeah. I don't like playing Bach because he was like a white
misogynist or something.
Misogynist or just like a white. He was like, I don't get on board with the idea of white cisgendered men. They're just not my thing. And I thought, oh, it's interesting. This movie is taking this kind of route or like delving into this kind of thing because just Lydia Tár as a character was very much. She was like, don't look at them through that lens. Like these people did amazing things in their field. Like, sure, a lot of them were awful people, like, but they made great music, and we wouldn't be where we are today without them. So to completely discount that would be kind of criminal. And I guess it was taking a stab at like the cancel culture a lot in this movie as well.
This is one thing that it's so complicated for me to sit here as someone in my position and say that I really don't fuck with cancel culture, but I really don't fuck with cancel culture. But only because it's gotten to the point where it's gone almost too far. It's like everything is a problem. Like everything. And like the thing is, I know people will probably turn it back around on me and be like, but like people should be responsible for that. And I'm like, yeah, but
when you say someone in your position, what do you mean by that?
I meant to be like a young lefty, in their 20s, supposedly quite woke because I'm not exactly straight and I'm not exactly female. You know what I mean? Like there's all these things, right?
They're making good points.
What do you mean?
In the movie.
Oh yeah, no, like I see. I agree with you guys, but I feel like this is gonna sound so bad, but I feel like I'm not supposed to. I feel like I am supposed to not be able to separate a product from somebody that's made it. Like, oh, they're a piece of shit, so therefore I can't support them. But like, if they're long dead and they didn't know any better because it was just society's time, am I really going to hold it against them? No, I'm fucking not, because they probably didn't know any better. Or, let's be honest, back in the day it was probably acceptable. Like, would they have hated me? Probably. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever. I just think, yeah, there's a lot in this movie that I feel like that there's I feel like there's a lot of things in this film that are valid, and they like comment on like a lot of valid points about like, like trying to like exploit people and stuff, like for your own like gain and your own power, that kind of thing. But then there's the stuff where it's like, why does everything just have to be a problem? I don't know. Is it just me? Am I the only one who's like, I'm just like, I'm not yabbling. I'm literally just talking out my arse now because I'm scared.
I'll play devil's advocate because like in some ways I agree with what she says in that scene, but in other ways I think it sets up her character perfectly because of how she goes about it. and the way she has to embarrass this kid.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't even want to hear his side of things. She's just like, I'm going to embarrass you because I'm that much better than you.
Yeah.
And
She is
really
dick.
brings out like that power dynamic she has over people and the way with words she has. And like, although I agree with like, you can't really cancel someone from that time period, you can't then act like them nowadays because you think that I'm a great artist, he was a great artist, I can do and say and act and treat people how I want.
Yeah,
I think that scene really sets it up well.
I think you said it better than I did. I just went on this rambling about how much I just hate when these topics come up, and I'm just like, I don't know what side I'm meant to be on because I'm like neither here or there, if that makes sense.
I mean, I was getting a lot of like frustration from like Todd Field, I suppose, and like how it was written in the lockdown, and I think at that time we were going through a lot of like only viewing the world through our screens and what people were saying. And it's not just like we were exposed to the people around us. It was we were exposed to everyone.
Mm.
Yeah.
And everyone has an opinion and everyone is on Twitter and everyone is on, Instagram and all that and YouTube. And when you view the world through that sort of lens, it does skew things a bit. And you do end up on thinking that you need to take a side between like, oh, am I more left leaning? Am I more right leaning?
Yeah.
And these sides are always at war on the internet. And
this is what I mean. Yeah.
We as people nowadays, I think it's more what happens on the internet is what happens. Whereas before, when we were growing up, it's like what happened on the internet.
It just stayed on the screen.
Yes, it was in a screen. Like it was called cyberbullying. Like, just turn off your screen. But now it's like you can't just turn off your screen. It's always there.
Yeah.
We have screens in our pockets now.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I got a lot about Todd Field's, I guess, his frustration with how we communicate with one another nowadays, and also like, and with the pandemic, And they do mention the pandemic in the movie a fair bit. But it just seemed to me like he was kind of upset with it all. And especially when we were not allowed to go outside or communicate with people in much the way we want to do or that felt natural to us.
Yeah, it was a bit fucked up that it literally had gotten to the point where the only time you were ever talking to someone was through like some piece of machinery,
box,
you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it was a fun time. Did not enjoy it.
I don't remember it being brought up in the movie though.
It's strangely not a fun movie, but I do have quite a bit of fun with it, just like picking it apart or like, and like scenes just replay in my mind all the time. I'm thinking about Cate Blanchett's performance or like the way that certain characters would act or like hold themselves. It's such a detailed movie in that way, just the minutest little tiny detail. You're like, oh, and that was that. Or like you just hear like lines of dialogue in my mind. I'm like, that was a great line of dialogue. That was weird when they did that stuff. And like she heard like screaming at times where she wasn't really, or just like different sounds where it felt like maybe she also had like OCD, or like major OCD, just like the sort of thing she was kind of hearing and trying to like the world around her was reacting in such a way that she thought was to benefit her. But really that was just like the world around her. Like she'll hear like the bell sound in like the apartment next to hers. It's really about somebody else. But she's like, wee, wee, and like play it on the piano, and she was playing these like two notes that sounded really like a police siren or like an ambulance siren, but I don't think that's what she was thinking it was. It was like, here's, how do I do that on the piano? It was very,
like everything's an inspiration, I suppose.
And in that way, I think just like a really great character overall, like an insane performance and like a great character. One of the best characters I think I've seen on the screen.
She is wild. Like, I respect her in a weird way. Like in a like like in a fucked up kind of way, I do kind of respect her, but in another way, I'm like, I would never want to meet her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would never want to like go to dinner with her because I feel like I would get sucked into a world of pain. Like, I just don't want to be about that.
It'd be awful. She'd embarrass you completely.
Yeah, she's toxic as fuck.
You go home and hate yourself.
Yeah, there's just something. But I think that's part of it, isn't it? I think part of the experience is to be like, you're strangely seduced by her, but you're like, I should not go anywhere near this situation because everyone around her is basically ruined by her in some way or form. Like, who's that girl that's the one who was in the Paris? That's the one.
The love of my life.
She, like, do you know what? I actually wasn't it. I was expecting, I don't know why, but I was expecting like some sort of like almost like Black Swan-esque thing to happen where she was just gonna like lose her fucking shit and like try and kill her. Because I was like, I would fucking kill her. Like, she is awful.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But no, it didn't end. She just, what happened to her?
Yes, well,
that's the
that's the thing, isn't it? Like,
she fucked it, didn't she?
Yeah, she just fucked it.
No.
Where did she go? Like, there were so many questions I had. Like, the film ended, I went, oh, okay. Yeah. Like, there were so many questions I had, but there was like no answers for them.
It's perfect because it's outside of Lydia Tarr's world, so it's a fuck. Like,
that is fair enough. Like, there's only like 2 real scenes that like stuck out to me, to be fair. And one of them is just fucking hilarious, and I think we all know what scene that is. And then the other one's where she just like smacks herself across the fucking concrete.
Big hit.
Like, imagine that. The only 2 things that are stuck in my head are hearing that crack from the concrete and her going, apartment for sale.
Yeah,
that fucking killed me. I was like in tears. Even though I knew it was coming because I think Max had mentioned it already, but it still made me laugh. Like, that's when you know it's funny. Like, you still laugh.
I do love how like just fleshed out as a character she is. She feels like a real person.
She does. I
can
could have
tell
assumed
that Todd Field like really spent time developing her.
Yeah,
but,
and he would only go with Kate Blanchett. That's all he wanted was her.
What, from the beginning?
Yeah, he wrote it for her.
That is mad. I don't know how I would feel if I was Kate Blanchett. Like, don't get me wrong, like, it's really cool, but also, I'd be like, why did you want me to play this? Like,
what did you see in
me? What do you see in me?
I think she's the perfect person for the role.
She's really good.
Do you know what?
She's done your Lord of the Rings. She's done,
I was gonna say, I don't know who she is.
Carol. You know, that was a great role.
Yeah, she was great.
And just tons and tons of other roles. She is really great. She is one of like the best ones.
The monkey in Pinocchio.
The monkey in Pinocchio.
Oh yeah.
You know, Nightmare Alley and fucking all that. She's great. She has such a commanding presence.
Yeah, I think she's terrifying in a way.
Yeah, she's really
like,
intimidating.
I think she's just. I spent quite a lot of it just like in awe, just going, oh my god, what the.
I watched a few interviews with her, and I was like, do I want to watch these interviews? Because like maybe it's like too much.
Yeah.
Gonna like degrade something.
Yeah, I just wonder how how'd you get into that? Like, how would you do that? Like, that's when you know that someone's a good actor or actress, right? Like, how do they do that? Like, I was sitting there thinking, how the fuck are you doing that? Like,
it's when you're fucking with the best.
Yeah, like, how are you doing this?
You can really tell that the character does have like this massive grip on everyone around her.
That's what I mean.
That's kind of what they explore. And as soon as like they could possibly get out this grip, they're like fully willing to like just cut her off and ruin her.
But you know what? Don't really blame them, to be honest. Like, I don't know. You can't play with fire this way, man. You just can't.
But I love the slow sort of tearing away of that from her, and everything she loves goes from her, and nobody wants to be associated with her. She literally has to move across the world because nobody wants to be with her anymore.
Yeah,
not even
no one will hire
her
her or anything.
Sorry?
No one will hire her or anything anymore.
No, because she's such an awful person.
Well, yeah, and she went and attacked that poor...
Mark Strong.
Yeah, that poor person.
What a scene, bro.
That was...
What a fucking scene.
I can't even remember it, really. I just remember, like 1 minute, she was just freaking out a little bit, and then the next minute she's like fucking punching some geezer in the face, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. And she's like screaming in his face, and I'm like,
her mental state is deteriorating throughout the movie, and from her perspective, this is a man who has so often
stolen her life,
bothered trying to do anything for himself, and has only asked her, how did you do that? How did you get the musicians to do this or on this? I've been listening to your recordings, and how do you do that? And she just refuses to give him anything, really. And then just all that culminates in like, oh, and now he's doing this, and it's the same fucking piece that I was going to conduct, and he's taken that from me. So that was a great scene, which goes feral. It's like,
it's like watching a street cat.
Yeah, beats him up. It was crazy.
Oh, it was. Honestly, it was like my life flashed before my eyes. I was like, holy shit.
I love the framing of it. It was like you thought that she was going on to do her own piece.
Yeah.
And it was actually, no, it's just been taken away from her, and she's like really angry.
Oh my God. I was actually confused by that at the beginning. I thought, oh, is he just like, what's he doing? He's just chilling there. It's like, oh, now I see. Yeah. Oh, it's so fun.
They do a good job of like, in certain scenes, like making you empathise with her as well. Like, especially the stuff with her kid, like they build that relationship up. I think that's like the line in the film. Her wife says to her, like, the only transactional relationship you've
not had
was with your daughter.
Yeah.
And then
true, though.
That scene when she tries to pick her up after school, and her wife just takes it away, and she's like, "Don't do this to me." I'm like, horrible, I feel bad for you.
Yeah,
well, scum. But
this is what I mean. This film made me feel.
See your kids, like, in my opinion, because it's never the
kid's fault.
In my opinion, it's never kind of like explicitly said that
she's done any of these things
happened back in the day with that other student. Like, she could be telling the truth, where it's like, well, she was obsessed with me. Like, I don't doubt that for a fact that she was probably like romantically involved in some way, but to the extent of which is never really gone into in that much detail, because it could just be like she showed her some interest.
Yeah.
The girls got attached like everyone else does.
Well, like led her on a little bit.
Yeah, and then when she's got cut off, she's lost her shit. Yeah. So like, I don't know, it does a good job of making you kind of empathise with her in situations like that, because it's like, well, has it been proven that she's done this horrific thing kind of thing?
Yeah.
Should she not be able to see her kid because of that? Like,
yeah, I guess it's one of those, isn't it, where it's like you never really know, but the evidence is very heavy against.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I never hated her though. I never got the sense that she was like, she's done like shitty things, but I didn't get the sense that she was a bad person, because she did like care about things, or like she regretted things that she had done, and like obviously she'd take a lot of it back if she could. Yeah,
like I wouldn't go as far as to say hate, but I definitely like kind of like a bit. It was like almost too intense. Like if I was in this situation and I had just met her, I would be like, okay, I'm never going anywhere near you ever again, because I like pick up on that kind of like that vibe, and I was like, it's like too much. Like, you can always tell when someone's going to be too much, and she, like, because I had like this like fondness for her, but at the same time I was like, it's gonna sound awful, but like I wasn't unhappy. Like when I saw her finally get the cup-a-numps.
Yeah, I thought it was a happy ending.
It was quite an interesting ending, actually. I wasn't expecting it to pan out to a bunch of cosplayers. I really wasn't. I really didn't.
I think it was a happy ending.
I thought it was kind of happy for her, because she found a new purpose, a new beginning. But I don't know. I just
felt like huge amounts of pity for her.
So did I.
She was such, like, at the start of the film, she's this enormous figure, and at the end, she's scoring like
the monster hunter convention.
And I was like, and like, fair enough, she's clearly taking it seriously, like she does with everything else in her life. But I was just like, you have fallen so far. Like, I just feel so much pity for you. Like, you have no relationship with your wife or your kid anymore.
Yeah,
the back of nowhere.
She had to move to a different country away from everyone she knows and loves.
I thought,
I was in kind of like two minds about it, because I was like, oh, look, she's she's doing to find new work. Like, she's still doing her composing or conducting, whatever the fuck it was she was doing. I was like, yeah, cool. But it was kind of like, but you're conducting to a bunch of cosplayers.
Yeah, but I thought it was like the humbling that she needed.
And I think she'll come back from it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
She needs a reset. This is the perfect reset.
Maybe that's what it was.
Back to where she was. Like, I don't doubt that for a second.
Oh, I don't know. Like, that's another one of these things that I think you can comment on for the whole.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it again, the dreaded cancel culture. Because some people don't come back from that kind of stuff. But it depends on. Because we can all play devil's advocate here, remember? Like, we don't know what happened for certain. We don't know. So there is a likelihood that she could come back from that. She'll come back to Berlin or whatever.
He's also trying to say, like, she is so talented that
she can make anything good.
To not have her there, like, in any capacity would be a waste in a type of way.
Yeah.
What, as a conductor, you mean?
Yeah, she needs to be conducting. This is what she was born to do, you know.
Well, that's the thing. At least it didn't end with Lydia Tarr at the checkout of a Tesco. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have been quite an ending. Like, that would have made me go.
No, but I loved the ending. I thought, like, I was like happy. I was like, yes, she was doing it. You know, it was like the humbling she needed. She went to another country, went through some shit, and now she's like, I'm doing something new. I need to make a new life for myself, and I need to be better. And that was why I didn't really find the ending devastating at all.
I didn't really either, but I can see. I can see both of this because I didn't find it that upsetting. But then again, maybe it's because I appreciated it because it wasn't one of those movies where she just immediately bounces back and she's like still top dog. It was just like, okay, I can live with this.
Yeah, it ends on the second act low point.
Yeah, like I can live with this. Like she's still doing her thing, but she's had consequences for it. I'm like, okay, I can live with this. Like I was okay with it. The ending was fine.
Yeah, unless a movie would like carry on and be like 10 years later, and she like gets back with her wife and child.
That would piss me off, especially with like when you guys were talking about like how I hate the word fleshed out because I don't like the term. It sounds gross, but like it's true. Like she was so well developed, but like imagine like just going title card of 10 years later and then just her back. That would piss me off, man. That would. It's not. It wouldn't be in that film's behavior. I don't think it would. It wouldn't fit. Is that right to say? You don't think it would fit? Because I don't think it would fit.
No.
I
think it'd just be a bit weird.
Perfect ending. Great like song at the end as well. Like in the end credits, it was just like this like club beat.
I don't remember. I'll be honest.
Oh wow, that's very strange.
To be fair, maybe I think I turned it off like the second the screen went black because I was like, it's taken me 4 hours to watch this. This is going off now.
Oh, the intro credits as well, where you just sort of like sit there with this like girl singing this strange song that I suppose was supposed to be some people that she was conducting in a different country because they also say like, here are her accolades and she did this in a different places. Yeah,
to be fair, for a couple of seconds I actually thought that I wasn't watching that movie because obviously, you know, when you torrent a movie, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. And I was like, I'm not sure this is Tár. Okay, I'm not sure. And then only after I saw Kate Blanchett's face, I went, okay, I think this is Tár. I wasn't sure.
And I'll have one more thing, but there was a scene where she goes back to her family home, I suppose was supposed to be it. And she watches a video of like a conductor conducting a piece, and then he turns to the audience and he says something to the effect of see, this is why we make music and this is what music means, and it's part of us, and it's and she starts crying. I was like, it means so much.
I think that was quite wholesome actually, because as people who are like quite creative, it's I mean, maybe for you two more so because you know you guys do like music, you know, you probably feel that in your soul, but like I don't know, it'd be like the equivalent of that man turning around and being like, and this is why we make art, because it's this. And I'm like, it is just like that. Like, it hits
that was what he was saying, though, was it not?
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean? Like, I think it probably would have hit a bit more different if it was like an artist saying it to me rather than a conductor. But you know what I mean? It's the same premise. It's the same, like, it hits, you know?
See, I pitied her again in that scene because it's like, she had like an old childhood like medal on from like clearly like a conducting thing. And I was like, you've like clinging on to like this. Maybe she's like trying to like reignite her like passion for it.
Yeah.
And get back to basics. But I just saw her sat there in tears watching this with like a medal on, and I was like,
yeah, you fucked it.
yeah, you fucked it massively.
Yeah.
Like, what have you?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's kind of how I
Yeah,
felt.
totally.
God damn! I loved it. Do you know what? This is one of the times on the pod where I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my fucking
I
god!
love
There's
it.
so many ideas popping up in the woodwork.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
There is so much going on in this movie.
Yeah.
It's
Complex film.
massively dense. But yeah, I love the monologue, and I love her reaction to it as well. It was like, yeah, you fucked it. Then you got to go back to where it all started and like build yourself up again.
Mm.
It's great. It's so good. Time's getting on though, so I guess we better rate it.
Oh shit! What's it? Oh my god!
Oh Jesus!
You guys are
what
never
we gonna
going
rate
home.
this one out of? Marla's? No, we did Marla last week.
Marla's.
Yeah.
Um.
Talking about Marla. A lot.
Let's rate out of cosplayers.
Okay.
I could think of.
Yeah, this is I'd say it's a masterpiece. I think it's a really, really great film. Definitely need to check out Todd Field's other work because I've not seen any of his movies.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic movie. I give it, what we 10 cosplayers?
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 cosplayers out of 10.
It is great. Seen it 3 times. The third time I went to see it, they projected it very dimly. The screen was
That's
way too
you,
dark.
baby.
It was way too dark. Yeah, that was a shame. But yeah, I love it. I think it's one of those I'd watch endlessly just to learn more about what it's trying to tell me. And I think it has so much more than within it that I need to know. You know, it's a masterpiece. I hope it sweeps the Oscars. I hope Cate Blanchett gets the Oscar for that. Screenplay as well. I think second to none. I think probably the best screenplay of the year for me. Loved it so much. 10 cosplayers out of 10. Give me the 4K.
I'm looking it up. I don't think it's getting a 4K over here.
Give me the 4K.
Blu-ray's been announced, but not
No,
a 4K.
Max can just import it like all the
Yeah,
others,
you
and
can
it costs
import the 4K.
£33.
I will import the 4K. It's £50.
Yeah, it's probably going to
It's
cost you
like
an arm.
35 on Amazon, I think.
I thought it was 33, but it's still pretty bad, to be honest.
What's your rating card?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's definitely grown on me the more time I've had away from it, the more I think about it. So at this point, I'll probably go like 9 cosplayers out of 10.
No.
Did I accidentally just skip over you, Darcy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but that's okay. No, because I didn't actually know whether I was. It doesn't matter. I think I might watch it again, but purely. I think I need the atmosphere to not take 4 hours to watch it. First of all, and maybe be with other people that are kind of like watching it as well, because I can get quite lost in it without like watching
Anytime.
it, and maybe even more so on a copy that isn't the one that I watched. Saying that, it wasn't bad, by the way. Yeah, it wasn't bad, by the way. Like the quality was fine, but maybe it could have been better. I don't know. But you know what I mean? Like until I've seen it in its natural habitat, I will never know whether it was that good or not. But I'm gonna give it 9 cosplayers for now. Could go up, could go down. Who knows? Probably not.
No.
But it probably won't. Max's face just what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, we'll see. When I get the imported 4K
Oh yeah, I won't be watching it
for
in the cinema.
£100. And that's what they want me to do. That's what I was talking about on the last episode as well.
Oh what?
They don't make these things easy.
They don't. They want you to torrent these things. They're begging for it. They're crying for it.
Please torrent our movies. We don't want any money.
Yeah, it is a bit of an odd choice, really, isn't it? They want to make
you
money.
not to consume it.
Yeah.
But what's the point? It doesn't make any sense. No one wins from this situation. If you want to consume it and you can't have it, no
There's
one
this
wins.
movie that we're distributing, but we don't really like it,
You can't have it either.
which isn't true. Everybody loves it. Everybody thinks it's great. I haven't heard a negative word about it, really.
Maybe they'll change their minds then. Maybe they will wait. Maybe they were waiting on the buzz.
I mean, it might get a 4K.
I reckon
It's
it will
just
now.
At the moment, they've only announced Blu-ray.
But remember, I think it's supposed to come out like basically the 1st of July. So at this point, they're probably just waiting for the green light to to bring out the 4K.
Well,
what I'm
Zarvi said
thinking.
it comes out in April, but Warner Brothers' own website said it comes out at the end of June. So I don't know.
June 30th, basically, which basically means to me,
We'll never
is
get
that,
it.
yeah, you'll probably get it like
Stuck in
next year.
distribution purgatory forever.
Be another wave situation where we just never get it in the country.
We're just going to have to copy it onto a DVD. Do you know what I'll have to do? I'll get Max over at some point and I'll show him the copy that Chris has and I'll go, does this look okay to you? Or does this look like a copy that we need in Blu-ray 4K format? It's not bad. I just don't know whether it was because it's fairly not dark, but it's a little bit dark and I'm like, is it meant to be dark? I don't know. Please tell me.
Yeah, it's a dark sort of movie.
So
yeah.
maybe it was.
Cool. That's that then on the new movies and all that.
For now.
So this one, Kai reprised his recommendation role. So he recommended us some movies that we're going to talk about. Why don't you tell us a bit about the movies, Kai?
Yeah, so I picked. I tried to pick a film for like each of you that I thought you'd enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to like get
Wait.
your kind of vibe.
We're supposed to figure it out.
Yeah,
Me and Max think we figured it out
I
on the
think I
way to
figured
the
it out.
shop. Like I think after the
Interesting.
first movie, we went,
Yeah.
"Nah, this has got to be the order." So we're pretty sure it was actually in.
But we'll get
a certain
to it.
order.
interesting. I picked Rocco and His Brothers, which is can't pronounce the director's name. Visconti.
Lucchino Visconti.
Yeah, I'm not messing with his first name. And then I picked Mean Streets by Martin Scorsese, and then Moonstruck by
Someone.
Norman Jewison.
Norman Jewison.
Don't worry, I wouldn't remember
Nice.
that either, mate. I'm actually really proud of you for actually knowing these off the top of your head. Like, I'm
interesting,
usually
very
scrambling on my phone.
interesting.
going,
I'm
Nice.
a big Scorsese
Yeah.
fan.
I like the premise. I like the premise of this marathon. To sort of, it's like a Easter egg hunt
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
no,
us all.
yeah, I actually feel like apparently this marathon was unintentionally themed, but it feels very intentionally
Yeah.
themed.
Yeah, I just went full Italian.
You did. You went
Yeah.
full on Italian American on us
Yeah.
for real.
A lot of interconnection with these movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we better start off with the first movie then. What's it about and what is it?
Again, it's a hard one to describe. It's about Rocco and his brothers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They moved to Milan from. I can never remember where they came from. But it's like a sort of
Begins with an L, I think it
countryside
was.
place in Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lombardy or
Lucania
something, was it?
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they moved to like the big city in Milan, and it's just basically about like the trials and tribulations that they go through, like finding somewhere to live, just trying to pay their way, romantic relationships, familial relationships, and it's fucking long.
It is long.
It's
yeah.
super fucking long. I'd like to not thank Kai for that, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like.
Did you try to kill me?
Well, I was worried that I'd fuck the whole day up because after that I could just feel everyone exhausted. And I was like, I don't think there's any recovering from this, to be honest. I don't know how the vibe picks up again from here, but
Yeah, Kai did message me beforehand when he picked the movies and he's like, oh shit, this one's 3 hours. Do you want me to pick something here? And I was like, no, just go for it.
It's hard to say if it had an impact on the rest of the movies, but, you know, I guess that's the part of the course for this type of format.
yeah. I think if I was to pick again, I wouldn't have picked it. I think I would have picked some snappier films.
Interesting.
You don't realise how long a day it is when you're all sat there, like, and to start off with a 3-hour film, like, you could have done 2 90-minute films in that space. One more to go, you know what I mean? So I think if I was to do it again, I probably wouldn't have picked it, but
Like that time Max picked An Elephant Sitting Still and it was longer than both mine and Darcy's movies combined.
Yeah, but I knew what I was getting into. I don't think it was like a mistake to pick this movie because ultimately I think it's a very good movie. We discussed Lucchino Visconti's Death in Venice in the last episode, so I was like, oh, that's interesting. The way very fortuitous. You were making a lot of predictions. I feel with these, like this theme of Italy and familial relationships and all that. And
to be honest, I saw Chris and Darcy's rating for Death in Venice. And I was like, I'm going to pick a Visconti film because I want you guys to like see one and enjoy it. Because I definitely feel like he's got way stronger films than Death in Venice, personally, anyway. So I was hoping you guys enjoyed it a lot.
I definitely liked it more.
Yeah.
No, there was like a lull in like probably like I don't know how many hours in it was where I was like, oh my god, I actually don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this without just jumping out the window.
It definitely takes its time building.
Yeah. I said it was it's very slow, very it's like very character driven, but like that's not a problem because it's obviously like mostly a movie that is developed around what the lives of these people are doing. So I didn't have a problem with it. It was just sometimes these movies kill me. Sometimes they can kill me when nothing happens. So like nothing substantial happens for a while. I tend to forget what I'm watching in the first place, and I'm like, okay, this is going to go somewhere soon. But then I have to keep telling myself that, and that's not a problem of the movie. That is a problem of someone with chronic ADHD. I cannot sit there and think, oh, come on, boys, someone beat someone out. Come on, do something.
That's on me as well, because like I'm like the complete opposite. Like I could sit and watch like a film for like 6 hours and be invested the whole time. It's like it's just my brain's wired to just like mong out like that, I guess.
No, but that's the thing. I'm not blaming anyone around here for how all of our brains are wired, but there was like a slight lull where I thought this is going on a while, but like it did take away from the actual like competency or like how good the film actually was, because it actually was like a pretty nice film about like, I say pretty nice, it wasn't a nice movie, what am I talking about? But it felt very like real, like I was following like this family around, like they were actually like a real family going through it, you know.
It's kind of associated with the like neo-realism movement. But Visconti was like sort of an aristocrat, like he had a lot of money, so it's quite controversial in that aspect because he's kind of depicting these working class lives that he didn't really know that much about.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is quite an interesting like little wrinkle to the film.
Did feel a little bit stereotypical in that kind of way, but I think that might make a bit of sense, because if you're in money and you don't know the lifestyles of the working class or the poorer class, I guess you are going to get a little bit stereotypical. Like it was quite believable though in a weird way. Like all the outfits and stuff were very like bomber jacket, nice trousers. I thought, yeah, that's the kind of shit that I could imagine these people wearing.
Yeah.
But it was like
you know, it was like the character of like Simone, who was like the boxer.
He was a hard watch. Fuck me, what a hard watch.
Well, yeah, but he also was just like, I need money, man. Give me money. I need money. I'm like, okay, that's like his character, I suppose, and he's like
what
mean.
The mum was like as well.
Yeah.
But like, I guess was it a sense that because what I've always understood, well, not understood, but like what I've always viewed from like the sort of like you know, when you're watching like the stereotypical shit is basically what I'm trying to say here, is that they're based in community and family, so like money isn't really that big a deal because they don't really have it, because they got they got these big families, so like they just kind of have each other. But yeah, this film had a little bit of a divide in it, where like it was a little bit like there were some money centric things happening in here, and it was like, if you don't make me money, you're not my son no more. And it's like I'm so confused as to what is happening.
Well, like historically, obviously they lose their dad. That's why they move, because it's always like the eldest man in the family. So they move to see the oldest son, Vincenzo, and he's meant to take care of them, but he's like, well, I don't have any fucking money. I'm meant to get married. Like,
right.
They don't really know what to do when they're there, and I don't think they ever really find their feet. Obviously, nothing pays it something.
Yeah.
You never get the sense that they're minted.
No.
They always seem to be struggling as a family.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Simone just gets so desperate, and he clings on to the one good thing he thinks he has in his life. Which is, Nadia. And then, boy, does he fuck that up.
So I just got a quick thing, because like I was watching it and I thought I was following it, but I don't remember. It might be because they're all brothers, and for the first hour or so, I couldn't tell any of them apart. but I don't remember Nadia ever being with Simone. But I could be like just not remembering him. Does that make sense?
She's not with him from a like romantic point of view. She's like, he takes me out every now and again, like, because she's a prostitute.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
he kind of pays for it, but he thinks it's more than it actually is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because
where the envy comes in when she falls for Rocco, like genuinely.
Yeah.
And loves him.
That makes a bit more sense because I was thinking I felt like I missed something, but I clearly didn't actually miss anything. I'm like Simone, I'm just missing the plot, to be fair.
I feel like she was a bit like, I don't know why she got herself into the situation that she did. Like, I know it's not really her fault, but also, like, if I was ever in that kind of situation, I was just like you don't owe anything to either of these guys, so just like leave.
Yeah. I guess it's
especially when it's like the relationship was so fraught.
Yeah,
it was so stressful, just like being there with them, like having them argue with each other all the time. I get that she loved Rocco, but it was also I don't know if I found it like completely believable that as a person I'd put up with that.
Again, it's not something I've picked up on my first watch, but like second and third time I've seen it, to me she's like the film. Like her character's the most important part of the whole film, in my opinion. Like, you really get a sense of how tragic her life is. Like, she drops in little hints every now and again in dialogue where she's like, "Oh, I slept with a teacher when I was 13," and then she's like, "Only joking, that didn't happen." Like, my life's been
she's the one who went to jail.
And it's like, she's obviously she's a working girl. She has an unhealthy relationship with men.
Yeah,
she relies on them, but she doesn't love them.
Mm-hmm.
And when she finally does sort of find someone she loves, a horrible thing happens. He can't be with her anymore because he's like, "My brother needs you more than I do," and he fucks her up massively. And she's just like, "I need a man to take care of me because I can't be independent without a man." Like, it's just you get the sense that there's like some unhealthy relationship she's had in the past.
She was like becoming currency or like something for them to trade.
Exactly.
Yeah, I actually cannot believe for the life of me that this man, I mean, suppose that Rocco did, like genuinely love her. Could you imagine going up to your someone that you love so much being like, "We can't be together anymore. You must be with my brother. You have to be with my brother. You need to be with my brother." I just thought, absolutely the fuck not. Surely, like, you can't. You watched him. You watched him do the things, and you just. I don't know. I thought Rocco was out of his fucking mind for saying that. Personally, I get why he did it. It's like family solidarity or something, but it's fucked. And even after all that stuff happens at the end, he's still like, "We just got to help him, man. We just got to help him."
There's also a different culture, though. I think it's a lot to do with like familial ties and all that. And I just think like the family was just all they had, and it felt like this does feel like kind of a precursor to those like other like Scorsese movies, like Mean Streets, I suppose, or like Goodfellas in that way, where it's like here's the big family. It felt like a big epic where it's centered around this one big family, and you watch them. It's more character driven than it is plot driven. That's why you
there's
try to get your hook.
I got like really strong Godfather vibes from that sort of thing, like in the family aspect and like just developing them and seeing them all interact.
Yeah.
The Rocco Simone relationship reminds me a lot of Michael and Fredo in the obviously. I don't know if you guys have seen part 2, but if you haven't, I won't spoil it for you. But
no.
Yeah, no, I won't. But that relationship it reminds me of that a lot. And
definitely.
The guy that did the music for Rocco and His Brothers did the music for the first Godfather film. Nino Rota. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
He did the music for this. So yeah, it's similar vibes.
It's really great score in this, actually.
Yeah.
It's like very jazzy. I liked it a lot.
Slaps. It was fun. I liked it. Like, I actually think that was probably one of my favourite parts, to be honest.
It is funny you say that, though, because there were actually points where I was like, "Oh, this kind of reminds me of like the main theme from Godfather and like the other bits and that."
I've never seen it, and now I'm looking at Max. I've
only seen it once, so I don't really remember it. I like the music, but I do think sometimes it's used a bit inappropriately.
Yeah,
like sometimes
I actually would agree.
Like talking about just the most dismal stuff ever, like reflecting on their lives and be like, oh, we've really been through it, huh? And the fucking like little peppy flute will be going.
Oh yeah, like the jazzy.
What is this? What's this about?
Maybe they just didn't want to make it so depressing that you want to jump out the window. So they were like,
Well, it was depressing. It was really depressing, man.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
That's kind of like the vibe of these like Italian.
Yeah.
It was very
movies.
heavy,
Like,
wasn't it?
bicycle themes.
I
and
knew it was
something.
going to be heavy, but I wasn't expecting it to like, I don't know, smack me in the head. You know?
Yeah, this one's a weird one because it's like the first half I find very neorealism, and then you obviously get to like the centerpiece of the film, which is like, do we spoil the film?
Yeah.
So Simone sees Rocco with Nadia, and to teach Rocco a lesson for taking the one good thing he's got in his life, he decides to rape her in front of Rocco, which is horrible. It's a horrible scene.
Oh yes, fuck it. It was
Very difficult to watch.
It was dreadful, mate. It was. I hate watching scenes like this. Like, it was like it took me back to the moment me and Max were in the cinema watching. Was it The Last Duel?
Oh yeah.
Fuck it! Every single time something like this happens in a movie, I think, nah, I'm I'm finished. But I know why they did it.
Yeah, that's genuinely like I find it so difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of all the footwork they do in the first half of the film, where they really build up these relationships very slowly, and you get like a real good sense of like who these people are, and just to see it is tragic because you're like,
yeah, that's the way to do something like that.
Yeah.
Spend ages like developing it so you're really invested in it. So when something really horrible and visceral happens, it like, affects you deeply.
Oh yeah, because you spend so long getting to know everyone, and then in a span of about 4 seconds, it is ruined.
Yeah.
But then I'm kind of glad that we clarified that is actually what happened, because either I didn't want to watch it, and Connor was in the room at the time, so I was just looking at Connor because he was making a joke, and then I turn around and she's just stumbling and crying, and I was like, I missed it. I'm glad I missed it.
I did kind of miss it.
I did miss it completely. I didn't see it, if that makes sense.
I don't know. It was hard to watch, I think, and also like just like she gets up and she's like devastated, obviously, as you would be, and like Rocco's there, and he's like, I don't even want to touch her.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you bastard.
I got to admit,
That's horrible.
That was pretty wanky of him, to be honest. I thought, but you watched that, like, you know what just happened. It wasn't like, because he was saying like, we're going to make love right here and now, and I was like, I mean, she's clearly, but like, how could I?
It was very upsetting, and like also they just like followed up with like this huge fight between Rocco and Simone that lasted for ages. But like, like Jesus, you felt it. Like every hit they took, they're like, oh, just get worn out a bit more, and that's great fight scenes. I think that's always good.
When
it
they,
felt
stop
real.
at the fountain, they both have to take a drink. Jesus, man.
You can't. It does feel real though. Like this whole film gave me the sense that like you could have told me that happened, and I'd been like, okay, yeah, sure, it probably did. It's just such a fucked film. Like I wasn't expecting it to go the way that it did, and I was like, well, actually, no, that's not true. We saw the menu title, and I said that looks fucked.
Yeah, it's like straight away. It's like it's right there.
No, it's true. They do kind of give it away pretty much instantly, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know, but also I have no context for that in the beginning, so I was like,
no.
That's weird. Let's watch this movie then. Just forgot about it.
Like I that's what I guessed was going to happen from looking at that, but without the actual you don't know for sure, but it does kind of give it away though. In theory, don't really know why they would choose that as their. Also, what a horrific menu title picture, by the way. Like, I know it was a drawing or whatever. Was it a drawing or a photo?
Yeah,
I don't know. Either way, why is that
I'm not sure. It is like the centerpiece of the film because it goes in a completely different direction.
It does. It 180
it just
is
kind
so
of
bad.
completely changes what the movie's about.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that is kind of important, though, isn't it? Because without that bit, the film would just carry on being as it was, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a difficult watch. Not the most uplifting film, and
no,
it just seems to get progressively more
and more fucked. Yeah,
it makes the characters a lot different as well.
Yeah, it changes them completely.
Yeah, it feels like you're watching two different films, for real.
Yeah.
No, I don't like Rocco. And like,
I don't know how I felt about Rocco. I was kind of, I don't know. It's difficult.
First of all, like, he wouldn't even touch her, and then second of all, he tells her to go back to Simone.
I can't believe
it. And then he defends Simone.
Yeah, the absolute audacity of it as well.
Man, you were the one good thing, weren't you? And then there's like, who was it? Chiro. He was like the only guy.
His head screwed up.
Yeah, he's like working at the Alfa Romeo factory. He's all right. He's doing good. Making money.
I liked him. He was the only one who was like, guys.
It's like, be him. Be like Chiro. He's good. He's a good guy.
Like, oh yeah, I loved him too, but sometimes people have to own up to their mistakes, and it's like, where were you the whole movie?
Yeah, they do like a weird sort of religious, not weird, it's just like they go for a religious theme towards the end where like Rocco's meant to be this like saint figure.
Yeah.
And I think Chiro is like, I don't know if he's meant to be kind of like the negative sort of like naysayer where he's like, no, forget him, like Simone's a scumbag, you can't help him this way, he needs to learn from his mistakes. And Rocco's like, no, we have to help him.
Oh, what, like he's Jesus or something?
Yeah, I was on Chiro's side. I was like, no,
yeah, so was I.
Yeah. No, because this is one of the, like, yeah, maybe it's just like one of the, you know, when you got a weird, fucked up kind of family dynamic where it's like, we don't get the police involved, we settle matters in our own hands. But that just feels very like, where does the buck stop then? Like who else do you have to kill in order to like?
Chiro was the one with like the head on his shoulders, and he like actually knew what was sort of going on. I guess it was fitting for him to like deliver because they got like a younger brother, like a really young brother, Luca, I guess, and Chiro had to be the one to tell him like about their family and all the hardships that they'd gone through, and it's like, this couldn't have been told to him, this child, by like Rocco, you know, because he has a skewed vision of what's sort of going on. But where Chiro's been out of it for a while and he's been working and he hasn't been involved in the family drama, he's a bit more objective with it, and he can tell him, don't make these mistakes, like we're fucked up a bit, you know.
Well, yeah, because I feel like there's you just got to have some strange family loyalty to be able to like know something about someone like that and just not do anything about it, I guess. Although but then I guess it also comes down to, would you help someone or would you get them put away?
Yeah, I wouldn't help somebody.
No, not him. I meant like if it, I don't know, like say it was your brother. Yeah.
Yes,
exactly. This is what I mean.
That's why I like that film so much, because it's like, like,
what would you do? Yeah.
I've got a weird relationship with my brother anyway. It's like, I love him to bits.
I hope you're listening, man.
yeah. But like, a lot of the time he does some silly things, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, sort it out.
Yeah, but the thing is, it should be up to the people closest to you to call you out when you are doing some fucked up shittery.
But like, I'd never turn on him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd never.
No, that's the thing. You can't. You can't though, because I mean, I guess it depends. But like, for the most part, you wouldn't. Would you really? Like, it would take some really fucked up shit for me not to talk to my sister again. Not that we don't really talk that much anyway. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it would take a lot for me to actively hate her. That makes sense. So I feel like I know where you're coming from. Like I feel like it would be, but then I guess you have like the moral duty to be like, and again, to be fair, if I killed someone, my sister would send me straight out there. I'll be straight on them streets with the pop coming over. Like you watch. I wouldn't see the end of it, mate. I know that for a fact, but I would respect it because I know that that's what she would do. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to even think about it. I'd go home.
I can't really conceptualize it because it just turns them into a completely different person in your mind. And
that's exactly because, like, Rocco, it's not hit him yet that this is not the brother he knew. This is some completely different man who's just at the end, like wit's end. Like, he's completely lost.
Yeah, he's lost it. Like, I'm actually not sure whether he was like mentally there. Like the longer the film went on, the more I thought, I actually think there's just something like something's wired wrong. Like, because he I don't know, I felt like he gave himself into like these delusions of grandeur and shit. Like, he was just like chatting about all this stuff, and I was like, you ain't here. You know, I felt like he just wasn't. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
the murder scene was very hard to watch as well. As much as it is like, it looked fake.
yeah, it
Obviously,
looked
when
shit.
he like stuck the knife in her,
It
it
looked
looked
shit, to be
shit.
honest. Yeah.
But the passions were there, and I think it's like the performances were there to sell it and make it really uncomfortable to watch.
Especially on her end of it. It
Oh
was
god,
like,
yeah. And she was like, I don't want to die. No, stop! I don't want to die. I was like, oh fucking Jesus, come on.
And it goes on a while as
Yeah.
well. It's
And then
not
you
like
just-
he stabs her once and it's over. He like stabs her continuously
That's
for like 5
what I was
minutes.
hoping. I was just hoping he was going to do it the once, and she was going to fall and be like, oh, "I didn't really want to die, to be honest." And then that was it. Then he just runs in the other direction. No, instead he's like, "Well, you know what? Pew pew pew," stabbing her like a fucking microwave meal, mate. I was like, I cannot fucking deal with this. But I think the only reason it didn't really, really like viscerally upset me is because it did look like shit. Like I was like, I can't take this seriously. Like I know he's doing this.
Yeah. It's one of those where like it doesn't look good. Like it's clearly like a extender knife.
Yeah, it is so
But like
bad.
I'm so emotionally invested in it at that point. Like it's real to me.
Yeah, it
like,
feels real.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't feel it, man.
No, yeah.
If they did it off camera, I think I probably would have like felt it a bit more.
Maybe.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Just watching it in the state that was, it just
I mean, he stabs
It
her the
took me
first
out of
time, you
it.
don't actually see it.
yeah. No, the first
I was
one
like,
I was
oh,
like,
no.
oh my god, and then yeah, when he's like.
Killing her with
Yeah,
an
when he's, like,
extender knife from Knives Out. Oh no.
This is shit. Yeah, that's why if they had done it after the first one, that would have been like, mwah. But no, they just had to carry it on. I do like the thought of an extender knife just kind of like collapsing and like the second it touches skin.
Nice. We got anything else to say about Rocco and maybe even his brothers?
I think it visually looks really good. I think the usage of black and white was a really good idea because it is a very like bleak and drab movie, and I think that kind of sells it. I think there's a lot of really good cinematography. Uses like distance and space really well on a lot of shots to kind of convey a lot of distance, especially emotionally. I think it's really good looking movie.
Yeah, I like that scene when Rocco and Nadia are on like the rooftop of that church, and the angle's really strange because you've got like the road beneath. And it's like, I don't know why he chose to have it like that, but it just makes that scene 10 times more like fucked up.
Yeah,
Oh, what's that
definitely.
thing? And she's like, I'm gonna jump off this, and I thought,
and it's
no.
I don't know, it puts me on edge.
Yeah, I feel like that's very intentional though, because when you're watching this angle and this lady's like, I'm literally about to jump off this thing, I think, fuck me, she's probably gonna do it. She's probably gonna do it.
She was such a tragic character, you know,
She
and
was.
she just like never saw the light. Or like she was never redeemed,
was
or like
horrible.
nothing
Absolutely
good
horrible.
ever happened to her.
She was definitely like if depression was a character, it would be her. And I don't mean depression like she was depressed. I mean like it like the epitome of a depressing time would just be her. I felt so bad for her. Everything was fucked.
But on a lighter note, at least the extras at the boxing place were funny.
Oh my fucking god, they were great. They were like doing the Last Ketchup song where they're like fucking like hands like going over
Weird
each other
shadow
and
boxing.
shit.
Some of them were just like smiling and giggling in the background.
And like punching air because they were meant to look like they're punching bags.
There was
but
that
they're
one
not.
guy
They're
just like hands and feet on the apparatus that was like parallel to the ground. It was like just like swinging on it.
It was so fun.
Vertical. Yeah, that's great.
I enjoyed that.
Should we rate the movie?
Yeah.
What are we going to rate it out of, Kai?
Yeah, come on, Kai.
No, Chris has got one.
Yeah, I've
So he
got some
knows
written
it.
down. There was a bit in the movie where someone called themselves a clodhopper.
Oh, I wrote down
Yeah.
Clodhopper.
So I think we need to rate it out of
Do you know what? I might
clodhopper.
actually have to quickly look up what Clodhopper is.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like this movie. I liked it a lot more than Death in Venice. It's really weird to me that this is like the same director because I feel like pretty much everything about them are like vastly different.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't feel like they're the same director. So I'd be interested to see more of his movies, see if he's just like got insane range. Yeah, really enjoyed the movie. I give it 8 clodhoppers out of 10.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Yeah.
He's a freak, man. vastly different experiences with this and Death in Venice. I think as the experience goes, I probably like them about the same amount. Just get vastly different things from them. And this is really interesting and very bleak, and I like it as like a sort of precursor to movies I like more than this. But I see like where it stands, and it's a good one. I'm glad to have watched it. Probably give it 7 clodhoppers out of 10. Although I'm not rushing back to see it.
Yeah, that's how I
No,
felt.
not for 3 hours and however fucking long.
It's a lot.
I have now since looked up the word clodhopper. A clumsy and uncouth person.
I feel like I could have told you that.
Yeah, that's literally what it is. I'm gonna give it 7 clodhoppers out of 10. Also, I love the name Clodhopper now. It sounds like a bug.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. It's probably one of my favourite films of all time. I like it a lot. But yeah, I'll probably give it like 9 clodhoppers out of 10.
Very nice.
Kai, what was the second movie, Kai?
The second movie was Mean Streets. I had to think about that then.
Yeah, to be fair, I actually had forgotten what the hell we were even doing.
Yeah, no, it was Mean Streets, directed by Martin Scorsese, who's the boy.
The boy.
Scorsese, baby.
Again, it's kind of similar themes to Rocco and His Brothers, where it's like, it's more like friendship in this one. Like, how far would you go for a friend? When do you decide to cut a friend off? When does a friend start to drag you down in life?
Yeah. When do you stop being mates with Robert De Niro?
Yeah.
To be fair, Robert De Niro was insufferable.
He was a bitch, man.
Insufferable.
You watched the same movie I did.
Yeah, I think he's great.
I mean, Robert De Niro was great, but Johnny is not.
Oh, yeah, no. I kind of get the appeal of Johnny.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't have cut him off either until he threatened to shoot someone.
Yeah, maybe. That is where I draw the line also. Until, cutting off a friend.
To be fair, if I was already friends with him, I don't think I would have cut him off. But if I just met him, I don't think I'd even be friends with him to begin with.
No.
I hope that makes sense. Like, I wouldn't have cut him off either.
I don't think anyone actually realised how bad like his situation had gotten, to be fair. Like, in terms of him like borrowing money and like all of this shit.
Yeah, for sure. He must have been on some like fucked crack to to be in that kind of situation.
I thought it was very like low risk sort of thing, but it was like they're dealing in like, I got $40. They're like, yeah, all right, I'll take $40. Fine. But where I'm more used to like Goodfellas or Wolf of Wall Street type movies being like, we're dealing with billions, man. It's like, I guess $40 will tide you over for this week, man, but next week you got to bring the whole 100.
Yeah.
But that was like Scorsese's thing. It was like he was at that time, well, just before he started directing films, he was like kind of in with the bad crowd. And this was kind of his like ode to small time criminals. And it like shows the shit side of being like mob affiliated, I suppose.
Oh, what? Like they kind of had a little bit of heart in it, but they like
just how that life is.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like, it's just fucked. Like, there's so much risk for so little reward. Like, why would you do it?
Yeah.
You want to be like Wolf of Wall Street level, but you're actually like these little gremlins in the gutter.
Yeah, it didn't sell me on the lifestyle, you know what I mean? I just thought...
I did think, like, what were they, like, doing, really? What
is it that they actually did? Yeah, what did they do?
They never explicitly go into, like, detail with what they do, but a lot of it's, like, running numbers, so, like, betting, basically, because at the time it was illegal. Like, you couldn't bet in America, so...
I thought you couldn't bet in America now, but in the same... No, it's gambling, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember what it is now.
States, you can't. But, like, at this time, it was, like, you can't bet. It's, like, illegal. So they were sort of, like, the bookies.
Ah, okay.
Obviously,
this is why it was probably illegal. Think of all the shit that went on.
Legit. So, like, every time you put a bet on, like, if you don't pay up, then there's something called a vig.
Yeah,
something interest, and it just adds a fuck ton onto your outstanding debts.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much the situation De Niro finds himself in the film.
Like, I guess it doesn't sound like a lot of money either, but I don't, because obviously there's conversions and all that kind of stuff that you have to account for. Because like, I don't know, when he's talking like, it's like, $3,000 or whatever, it's like, it's not actually that much, is it? But back then, that must have been like quite a lot of
If you
money.
take away $3,000 from me right now, I'd just be devastated though.
Yeah, but no, but I mean in terms of like, in these films where they're like dealing with like, hundreds of thousands or millions, and it was just like $3,000. I thought, no, that's not that bad, I guess. But yeah, once again, it is probably worth quite a lot more.
I think it's also all relative to the characters as well. Like, it's all relative to what they actually have, how much they own. Like,
yeah.
To be fair, I just felt like these sad little mobsters were like giving him chance after chance. Like, you know what I mean? They were like just going, do you know what? Yeah, I'll take whatever. And then like, I just felt like Johnny was just like pushing it and being a little twat about it the whole time. I was like, you're not doing anyone any favours by being a twat.
Well, he was taking the piss because
basically
he was getting away with it in the past. Like, nothing bad had ever happened to him because like he was with Charlie. Charlie's uncle was like relatively big time, I guess.
Yeah.
And no one really fucked with him, but there comes a point where it's like you've gone too far and you're gonna get shot in the neck for it.
Yeah, that's why he's always asking like him to get his uncle to help him out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought Johnny was a bit of a pussy, to be honest.
I thought they were all a bit of a pussy.
Actually, yeah. Do you know what? Fair enough.
It is like also like a lot of like hyper masculine stuff going on with like throwing their weight around. They're all constantly fighting with each other and like getting into punch ups. It's like this is so like toxic masculinity personified in a movie.
Do you know, that just reminded me of that bit where they take them all down to the basement and there's a fucking leopard or cheetah or something in a cage. Yeah. What the fuck was that all about? It's never addressed again.
This guy's keeping panthers.
Yeah, no, I think the scene that sums up the film for me is the scene in the pool hall, where it's like they've gone to collect some money for a friend, Jimmy the Mook.
Jimmy the Mook.
You
Mook.
You Mook.
The guys in the pool hall are like, no, we're not paying. And they're like, no, come on, pay. So they're like, okay, fine, we'll pay. And then Johnny says something stupid, and they're like, actually, no, we're not paying, fuck you. Yeah. And then a mass brawl just incites in the pool hall.
This is why I think Johnny's a bitch. Like, stop.
Yeah, but it's like, it's exactly that thing, isn't it? It's like, it's so small time, it's so pathetic. You're arguing over nothing, but it's like that masculine urge to be like, actually, no, fuck you. I'm going to fight you now because of that. Like,
especially that bit where they're like, let's just have a make-up drink and it'll be all right. And then they just like, you know what? I love a big fight. I do love a big fight, though. That was actually quite fun.
But it is like, you ever seen like a real fight? It's pathetic. And that was sort of what I thought they were going for as well.
This is like
little, like these guys, small time business stuff, mob stuff going on in like the basement, you know, and a fucking like pool table. Yeah. And it's just like, it's like slapping each other.
It was quite lame, wasn't it?
This is lame.
I kind of like that though, because I don't know. I mean, I've not really seen that many mobster movies, but they do kind of glamorize the whole mobster thing, don't they? And this movie went. Have you actually seen them?
You think this movie glamorizes the mob? Ooh.
Oh my god.
I think Charlie's a more interesting character than most leading guys in mob films, just because he's so conflicted with everything. Like, he wants to settle down with Teresa, but he knows if he gets with Teresa, his uncle's going to kind of tell him no. So he has to keep that a secret. He kind of has to keep his friendship with Johnny a secret. And he's also got this weird religious guilt where he's like, I don't want to go to hell. I know I do bad shit. And he kind of excuses himself. He's like, well, I make up for my sins by putting up with Johnny's shit. My penance kind of thing. Like, the whole, like the first lines of the film, was it like, you don't make up for your sins in the church, you do it in the streets. The rest of it bullshit. Yeah. And like, he's constantly throughout the film holding his hand over like open flames. Like, remind himself of like the flames of hell. Like, this is what I do it all for, to get away from this. But it's like such a warped mentality, and I just think it's really interesting that
definitely
he's got such big like religious guilt for a mobster like this.
It's a good performance as well from Keitel.
Yeah, Yeah, I think him and Robert De Niro are fantastic. And
Yeah, definitely.
I was refraining from doing the Robert De Niro thing. I can't help it.
Yeah, it was true. I mean, Robert De Niro's haircut was so shit. I just thought, like, watching him in this movie was like, yeah, he's one of the main characters, but he is also treated like kind of a child.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
I was like looking up, like, when did Taxi Driver come out? And that was only like 3 years after this. I was like, wow, that's
I think they filmed it a year or two after this came out. So
like such a different performance, and like the characters are so different, or like he holds himself so much differently.
He's in The Godfather Part 2 this came out. So
And that's a completely different performance as well.
yeah.
I didn't really recognise him at first. It took me ages
he's
to
just
figure
great.
it out.
He's great.
I was like, who the fuck is that? Oh.
The thing that sold me on like the Charlie and Johnny relationship, because they build it up quite quickly. Obviously Charlie's like, oh, here he comes, and like the jumping jack flash scene when he walks in with the two girls in his arm, but then they kind of go to that back room, and you get Johnny's charm comes through because he's like bullshitting his way through this conversation, because Charlie's like, where's the money, why didn't you pay Michael? He's like, oh, this thing happened, blah, 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 blah. And it's like quick talking, and I'm like, yeah, these two guys are like really good friends, like they're on the same wavelength. He's like, don't fuck up, like please don't fuck up, but like you're funny. So
that actually did make me laugh, because I was like, imagine how how sad that must be to just stand there and listen to your friend be like, oh yeah, I mean, I was going to come over, but like on the way here, I saw a cat, and then after I saw that cat, I saw a pigeon, and then that pigeon ate the cat, and it's like,
when you know someone that well, you're like, you just stop bullshitting.
Yeah,
me,
you know, you just
can
know,
cut
and then
through the crap.
Like, but the thing is, if you know someone that well, surely you would even try that with them, because they know that you're chatting shit. Like, I don't know, maybe no, but
I think that's their relationship, isn't it? Like, Charlie's like, don't do this. Johnny's like, oh no, but I wasn't doing this. It wasn't my fault. And Charlie's like, classic Johnny. I have to look after him and hold his hand through all this bullshit. And in the end, it just goes too far, and he can't save him.
It's just, I guess at some point, it just becomes a bit too frustrating, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, he sticks with him right to the end. Like, he's not cut him out. He's still trying to help him out.
No, but I kind of respect it in a way, because that's just how he obviously is as like a person.
And I don't know how much of that is also loyalty to Teresa, because he never says he loves her in the film, but I get the impression that he loves her.
Yeah.
But he can't outwardly kind of say it because of the implications, obviously. I think, I don't want to generalise, but like, obviously in that time anyways, like things like epilepsy, no one really knew too much about it. So you see someone having an epileptic fit, like, oh, that person's mentally unwell, just like the uncle does. So it's not something he can come out and openly say because of the judgment he'll get. But I think there's quite a lot of interesting aspects like that in the film. Like, Charlie's being torn 4 different ways from Sunday, and it's just like, how do you cope with all of that?
Yeah, that is interesting, I think. It's weird. Yeah, I don't think I've seen many Scorsese movies from this sort of time. I mean, it feels like a logical beginning point in terms of like his gangster movies, like Goodfellas, or like, it feels like Goodfellas, like he refined it in that movie.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like more of a stepping stone, because it does feel quite rough around the edges, and like very much like people are trying to get into what this movie, or like what this kind of movie could be, with like the way they're talking as well. They're all very like, there's always some geezer named Tony in these gangs.
Oh yeah, that's what we were laughing
they're
at, weren't
always talking
we?
like, oh, bada bing, bada boom. They literally say like, bing, bing, boom.
Oh, and they're
bang.
like, what's the
And
matter
it's
with you?
What's the matter with you? It's all here.
Yeah.
But it's like, it does feel like very early that sort of movie, but it's really fun, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think he's gotten better at sort of portraying a world like this in
Well,
his
you've got to start
movies.
somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, I do find it interesting watching this, like after seeing like Goodfellas and Casino and all those movies, and like seeing how a lot of those sort of ideas were like here back, like right at the beginning of his career, like in the way they all talk to each other, and like the soundtrack that's like very, like it's very similar to the sort of soundtrack in his other gangster movies, you know, like
very boppy.
full of like 60s doo-wop and Rolling Stones and shit.
Yeah, definitely.
I like that a lot, actually.
You get some like flashy sort of Michael Scorsese, I almost said then.
Michael? Who's Michael?
It's because of the character in the film I'm thinking of. Yeah, you get like the classic, like flashy Martin Scorsese stuff where like I really like Johnny's introduction and the slow-mo with Jumping Jack Flash. And there's a couple of really strange sort of like where it pulls out from the characters' faces into like medium shots of like 4 of them stood behind the bar, and it's just like, and then obviously you get the scene where Harvey Keitel's character is drunk, and it's like a stabilizer he's got on his chest, and the camera's kind of like following him around when he's drunk. Like, that was really cool.
Great shot.
Yeah,
I love stuff like that, and they use the camera like just in weird, creative ways. I don't know if it was like, it feels quite modern to that time.
Yeah,
quite new, like he was experimenting a bit. That's sort of what the movie feels like. It's like a big experiment. Like testing the waters for what he could be making.
Why not, innit?
For that, I think it's really good. You know?
Yeah, this was only his 3rd film, wasn't it?
Yeah, insane.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like that knowledge.
Yeah, because I think he did Boxcar Bertha before this, and then he did Who's That Knocking at My Door?
Yeah, it's first one.
I like that film a lot. That's got quite a bit of Mean Streets in it.
I've not watched either of those.
Is this just like his shtick? You know, like I don't know if I've seen a lot of movies like that.
I think that's the generalisation, isn't it? That he's the mob guy.
Is he
that's
the mob
not true.
guy?
No, he's done so much.
I'm sorry, I don't really know what else.
Yeah, he's a super versatile director.
Oh god, yeah.
We watched Hugo not that long ago. He did that.
Yeah.
Hugo.
Yeah.
Silence. Yeah.
King of Comedy. Yeah.
Oh,
Taxi Driver.
yeah. Okay. But don't give me Taxi Driver. Taxi Driver's basically a mob movie
Shutter
in its own way.
Island, that was one of his newer ones.
He did do Shutter Island as well, didn't he? Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
There's
That's
a
a weird
masterclass in.
That's not one I
all
would
things
think
mine.
like, oh yeah, and Martin Scorsese did that.
Maybe that. Maybe away from the mob movies. Maybe just maybe here's that guy, the guy that you go, oh, he made that movie. That's interesting. Like,
That's why he's one of the great ones.
Yeah.
because you never know what you're going to get.
Exactly.
I kind of appreciate that.
Killers of the Flower Moon coming soon.
I'm excited for that.
What a great name,
great.
first of all.
Yeah, I'm
Don't know what the fuck that's about, but it sounds cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Have you guys seen The Irishman?
Yeah,
I have, yeah.
No,
I watched it once. I stuck through it. It was a hard watch.
it sounded really long and boring. I'm sorry.
I've seen it a couple of times. I really like it.
Because I feel like this, Mean Streets and The Irishman, are like kind of like spiritual things. Like,
yeah, I'd agree with that.
they're the sadder of the two, like, or like the sadder of the mob films that he's done, where it's like,
Oh, okay.
it's quite sad and depressing. Like, these guys' lives isn't nice.
Yeah.
So I think it's quite an interesting like comparison where he did this obviously at the start of his career and The Irishman a lot later on.
Yeah. You got like Goodfellas and Casino that are the complete opposite, like super glamorous and like vibrant.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's interesting. It's interesting. I like this film a lot. I think, like you say, it is just like him experimenting and kind of finding his feet a little bit, but also like he's super assured with what he's doing, and he clearly knows this world.
Yeah, he's got the ideas down as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He knows what he wants to do.
Yeah, he shows off like instantly that he knows how to make a good movie. Like, I love there's a lot of like really great colouring throughout. Like, there's a lot of heavy usage of red throughout, which I think like kind of fits the scenes perfectly.
Yeah.
You can always tell some shit's gonna go down when
The theme, innit?
when it's just completely red.
Yeah.
Red is the colour danger, mate. The colour danger, the danger colour.
Of course, the Blu-ray that we watched, your Blu-ray, Kai, was a bit... Yeah, it's not the best transfer.
Everyone looked like they had jaundice.
Yeah.
And the sound was kind of... It put me off a bit.
I don't think that's really... that's not really a film fault, though, is it? Is that a formatting fault? I don't really know.
I don't know why the Blu-ray is so shit. Like, I don't know what if they took it from... If they upgraded it from a DVD or
maybe
if they used the original film negative, I'm not sure. But
yeah, I've got it on DVD and it was fine.
Yeah,
maybe some things just shouldn't be fucked with.
It's just frustrating that that's the only Blu-ray you can get of it. There's no other option. It's just this shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oof.
That's a shame.
Yeah, because it is.
It's always a shame when they like clearly just put no effort into it.
Yeah, like
it's a good-looking movie.
That's the thing. If it's better as a DVD, why fuck with it?
It's like an
Just leave it as it
iconic,
is.
beloved movie, so you think they'd put the effort into transferring it and like restoring it.
Yeah, maybe they just looked at it and went, "That jaundice looks pretty good. We're going to keep
Maybe
that
one
in."
day.
Thing is, it's got such a specific look as well. Like, it's so like grimy and dirty. Like, I just feel like they oversaturated it completely.
I feel like you would have noticed that.
You lose some of like the
What, the grittiness?
yeah.
Mm.
It just seems a bit. I don't know. Just
Does it seem too bright almost?
Yeah.
I haven't seen I haven't seen it in its original like way, so I don't know.
I mean,
Obviously, I knew they weren't meant to look jaundice, but I don't know any different.
the first time I watched it on Netflix, and that HD transfers 10 times better than the Blu-ray.
Right.
Exactly.
A lot. So,
That's actually quite sad to hear, to be honest. When
Watch it on
Netflix does it
Netflix.
best.
Well done, Netflix.
Hopefully one day it gets like picked up by Criterion or something.
yeah, fingers
I'm surprised
crossed.
it's not a Criterion, but it seems like something that would
You
be.
want like a nice high quality 4K transfer, surely.
Or at least a
for a movie of
fucking
this
Arrow.
ilk.
Something.
Yeah, someone decent. Get
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, do it. Cool. We got anything more to say? Okay.
No.
What are we going to rate this one out of?
Mooks.
It has to be Mooks. Mooks is the only option.
Very fast for that.
Yeah.
It's because he had that in his head
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Yeah, obviously.
Hey, Johnny the Mook.
Is
You whip
Mook
that out like a fucking guy in a Western movie. Mook.
He's the fastest man in the
Yeah.
world.
He's the fastest
The
mook in the
Waco
West.
kid from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, you're the one kid.
Yeah, this is a really great movie. I'm glad I watched it again. I've seen it once before, but that was years ago, so I didn't really remember it a lot. Yeah, good Marty movie. Good to
Marty
see
movie.
where he started. Yeah, it's Marty
Yeah.
doing what he does best. Give it 8 mooks out of 10.
Hey, I'm mooking here. It's good. It is good. It's just I think it's a good stepping stone for where he eventually ended up, and I think like leaps and bounds. I think Goodfellas is like an insane masterpiece, and this is like one of the ones that sort of paved the way for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And how he got to where he eventually ended up. It is interesting to watch. Yeah, good stuff. Probably give it 7 mooks out of 10.
Yeah, I think I agree with the general consensus. I'm not sure. See, I always say this about films where I'm like, I don't think it's really my thing, but I actually don't think mobster movies are really my thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a bad movie. So I'm going to give it 7 mooks out of 10.
We'll watch Goodfellas at some point.
I
If
have
you
a
don't
feeling
enjoy
there's
that, then yeah, it's definitely not for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, I don't think mobster movies are really my thing either.
No,
but like
I've-
Goodfellas is like, oh god.
This is it. I think that there's got to be at least one movie out there that makes me go, God, I love the mobsters. But at the moment, I haven't found it.
I think it'll be good, fellas.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not The Godfather.
No, I think that's probably too slow and too long.
Yeah.
Personally.
I was like, I was like, one of these days I'm going to sit through the whole of The Godfather. It's
Yeah,
gonna
no, straight
happen.
up, you won't like
And
it.
and then it just never came up, and then 2, it just never happened. I feel like I would put it on and then be like half an hour through and be like, fuck, still watching the fucking Godfather.
Yeah.
Oh well, we all know our limits.
Yeah, no, I'm very nostalgic about this film because, like, I got into Scorsese heavily, like, probably at college when I first met you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was like one of the first I watched. So I agree, though, it is like you can kind of see like the early stages of where he'd go. And I think he does make better films from here on out. So yeah, I'd probably go like 8 out of 10 mooks.
Nice. That's what we like to hear.
Now, Kai.
The last one.
Yes.
What was that?
It was Moonstruck. I thought I'm quite glad this one was last.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone needed to like just have a good time and have a laugh.
Have a
Yeah.
little pick me up.
Yeah, so it's a classic rom-com with Cher and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
That
The
is.
dynamic duo.
Yeah, the dynamic duo. It's about a lady who was married and her husband died, and she's just never found the right guy, and she's about to settle down with Nicolas Cage's brother, and he asks her to contact Nicolas Cage because he wants him at the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
And then Nicolas Cage and Cher kind of hit it off, and it just goes from there, really.
It's what we needed, man, after these horribly depressing movies, and we just see Nick Cage and Cher. Just that alone is like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Nick Cage and Cher, come on then.
Yeah.
Why not?
To be fair, after those movies, it was like anything's possible now. Let's give this a go. Let's see how they get on.
It's funny. It is funny, and it's like exactly what you'd want from a movie starring Cher and Nick Cage, and a good pick me up from those last two. I
feel like it's exactly what you would think if you have no expectations of this movie, then that is I guess that's exactly what you're gonna get, really, isn't it? Like,
it's not one I think I'd pick out though. Oh, Moonstruck, I'll pop that on.
No,
like beforehand, because I had heard about it, but I was sort of like, it's a rom-com. Like, it's not like whatever.
Yeah, my mum instantly knew what it was when I was but then again, I guess it must be the only film with Cher and Nick Cage together.
Yeah.
I assume, because my mum was like, "Oh, you're watching that? Good film," and I was like, "Okay."
More Italian
Sure.
they're speaking in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, we get the Italian movie to begin with. They're obviously like Italian American in Mean Streets. Now, like, just randomly, Cher's family is like speaking Italian sometimes. Got like that old guy, I guess, was her like uncle or something, who like walks the dogs, and he's obviously Italian, just like speaking Italian to them the whole time. We were like, God, did you do this on purpose?
I must have subconsciously.
Yeah.
There must have been something.
It was almost like too coincidental. Like, I asked him before the film started. I was like, wait a minute.
Or maybe you just only watch Italian-related movies.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, true.
So Italian stuff with big themes about like family and family ties.
Yeah, there was a lot of like, family loyalties and expectations, and like in this movie when the dad goes, well, if she doesn't get married, what else is she going to do with her life? And I was just like, for fuck's sake, like that's exactly what I'd expect.
That as well, right? You know?
Yeah.
She was like, oh yeah, I had a husband, but he died. Now I just got to get married again, I guess, and we got to do it all right. And it has to be like, you can't do anything wrong. It has to be like, get down on your knees for me, propose with a ring. We have to get married in a church, all this stuff, so that her new husband doesn't die and she doesn't die an old maid. You know?
Yeah, she thinks that she had bad luck.
Yeah.
And that's why he died, and that she needs to do everything right this time.
Mm-hmm. But she doesn't.
She just needed to hold out for Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just as batshit as any other movie that I've seen. Actually, a bit less batshit in this movie compared to some of the other movies I've seen with him.
I think he's quite restrained in this.
Yeah, he's a little bit more docile, isn't he?
But yeah, you know.
Yeah, somehow he's still senile. Like, I don't know how this even works.
He's like a goblin.
I love him.
Like, finds him in like underground, making bread.
Yeah.
He's got a wooden hand. He's like, say this wood is fake.
What did he mean by that?
What do you mean the wood is fake?
Apparently Cher said she'd quit the movie if they didn't hire Nick Cage for it.
Oh, legend.
She saw his screen test and was like, it's like watching a car crash. She's like, he can't like turn away.
He's incredible. Like, for the longest time, I really didn't like him. I don't know. I was always battling with the age old question: is he bad?
Nick Cage,
or is he
good or
great?
bad?
Yeah,
I think that was like a general thing until like a few years ago, when there seems to just be everyone's just been like, yeah, he's good.
He is good.
He is good. Like,
It's just like now everyone's in agreement. No one's like questioning it anymore.
No, that's where I kind of tottled off for a bit, because I thought, I don't like him, but I don't know if that's because I can't tell whether I like him or not.
He's had too many bangers.
Oh, he has, hasn't he? Like, I can't even, like, I think ever since we watched that movie of his last year, I went, no, he's the
unbearable
king.
weight of massive talent.
He is the man. And then he comes out with his like fucking like gremlin bread vest on, and I was like, yes.
With me, I was never like fully sold on him till I watched Raising Arizona, and I was like, yeah, this guy is great.
Oh, no, we can't talk about that.
Okay, well, we'll not. Yeah, I like that girl, like right at the beginning when like Cher finds him in the bread place, And then like she takes him away, and there's one girl who like works there says, I'm in love with this man, but I can never tell him because he lost his wife and his hand.
Oh yeah, and then that's like never visited again. It's just like this random thing that comes out.
There is a lot of like weird dialogue.
There is so many weird fucking things.
Yeah,
but I feel
so
like that's
many
like,
lines written down.
It feels like that's part of the charm, though, isn't it? Like if you've got Nick Cage in your movie, anything goes. Like it's just anything.
I feel like it has to be because I do think like so much of the writing is like actual genius.
Oh,
like,
it's so funny.
There is like so many great situations, so many like fantastic things happening in the movie.
Mm-hmm. She's like cheating on her fiance, but then there was like a point where like they go to the opera and she sees her father. Is it?
Yes, her dad.
Her dad like cheating on his wife.
Yeah,
and she's like they're doing the exact same thing, but like they're both kind of horrified at each other, and they just have to be like, I guess we just won't talk about it.
Oh my god. I feel like I guess it's slightly worse though if you're married, because at least if you're engaged and you're not married yet, you could I guess break it off. But like if you're married, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of worse, but it's not good either way. I kind of enjoyed that though, because like I don't know how you're supposed to feel in that scene. Or you're supposed to be like, oh, I can't believe this, but then at the same time you're like, oh wait, but you're both just as bad. Like, what do you do?
I think that's what I like about it as well. Like a lot of rom-coms are like overly sentimental, where I think this isn't. It's like it doesn't. You don't have to love all the characters all the time. Like it's like these are like flawed people, like real life.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that aspect of it.
I think they explore the characters in really interesting ways as well. Like one of my favorite bits in the movie is when her mum like basically ends up on an accidental date with John Mahoney. Like
John Mahoney.
That whole just sequence of them talking and then him walking her home, I thought was really, really great.
I thought it was quite sweet in a way, because like she seemed to have like she was above all of it, wasn't she? Because she could have easily just cheated on him with John Mahoney. But does she? No, she doesn't, because she's a loyal lady of the cloth or whatever. And I liked her a lot. I don't know. She just felt like the most genuine, I guess, if that makes sense.
She was great.
Yeah, she was sticking to her morals. She was like, I could easily get with John Mahoney, but I'm not
going to.
gonna.
Like great scene, like when they're at breakfast, I think, like right towards the end, where she just like turns to her husband from across the table and she says, "Have I been a good wife?" He says, "Yes." She says, "I want you to stop saying her."
Oh my god, that was like
she serves cunt, man.
Yeah,
she was that bitch, man. It was great. And he just like gets up and he's like pounding the table and he's like, ah, okay.
Yeah,
I did find
wasn't it? Yeah,
that bit was actually really funny for some reason. Like I wasn't expecting him to just sit down and go, okay, yeah, sure, yeah. I guess you're right. I shouldn't really be doing that.
How can you argue with that? Though?
Yeah, you can't though. That's the thing.
Right.
I thought that was really bizarre. Like I feel like that's just not a normal way to have that conversation, but at the same time,
none of this is the normal way to do anything. Though
it makes sense.
Like,
for the movie,
hey, my name's Johnny. Go get my brother Ronnie. Like, stupid as hell, man.
I love that bit where he's like, "Hey, it's Ronnie, Johnny's brother." Yeah, wait, Johnny is Ronnie's brother. Ronnie.
I'm not going to be like Nick Cage is like ugly or whatever, but he looks like shit.
He looks better than Johnny.
Like, Cher's like, this is the one for me, actually. But I think it was more to do with like giving into that primal instinct where she had so often wanted to do things traditionally, and she was giving way to more basic urges, I suppose. She was like stunning.
He's quite an
she was
enigma.
Unbelievably good looking.
Cher.
Yeah. Nick Cage. That's the one for me.
Yeah, I'd never realised Cher was that woman.
Yeah.
I've kind of just known like older Cher, where she kind of looks like a plastic person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shit.
She's on Twitter like owning the libs.
Yeah.
My mate Ali used to call her the Elephant Man.
What?
Oh man. Yeah, she ain't the same. She ain't the same. I thought they were kind of weirdly suited though, in a weird kind of like these two are like enigmas of their own right. Like, who even are
I think
these
a lot
people?
of it comes down to the fact that they actually have like a fair amount of chemistry.
They do,
Yeah.
don't they? Like that when Johnny was at the. I mean, it's not really fair because you don't really see this relationship between them two anyway. But like, it felt like she was at dinner with like her dad.
Yeah,
That's
or
the
like
point,
some
though.
friend.
Like, I think they just jumped into it, and she was like, "I need to get married." Like,
Yeah, that's kind of
he's going to marry me, so I'm just going to do it. You know, I've got the sense that they hadn't been together all that long.
I don't think they could have
No.
been, but I don't. Yeah, they don't really bring it up.
Seem to know him that well.
No,
yeah.
They kind of just like, oh, don't like him.
Yeah,
especially
like,
the dad. You're like, I don't fucking like him.
she's asked like if she loves him. She's like, no, but I like him.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's about it. And then obviously that comes back around where it's the opposite later with Nick Cage, where she said she loves him.
But she doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he is insane.
I love Johnny's arc as well, where he like goes away. He's like, I will marry you, but I have to go and see my mother die first. So he's like just in like Sicily,
Yeah.
watching his mother die, and then like his whole arc is like, oh, she didn't actually die. She like clawed herself back from the brink of death, and now I can't marry you because my mother might die.
That was absolutely insane. I was not expecting him to just come in and be like, "Oh yeah, we can't get married because
Phenomenal scene
it
where
just
like
can't happen."
this exchange of the ring between these three people in this love triangle. So like Johnny, he was like, I'll take my ring back, please. So he like takes the ring back from Cher, and then fucking Nick Cage is like, Johnny, I'm gonna propose to Cher. Can I have your ring? And he just says, yeah, have the ring, and he just gives it back to her. Oh man, it's so good.
Then it cuts her granddad crying, and he's like, I'm so confused.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's how I felt. To be
Hilarious.
honest.
That's so good.
I'm confused.
That felt real. Like I felt like if anyone else was at that table at any given moment, that would have been the same reaction because it was a lot, man. It was a lot. I kind of liked it though. It was like chaotic as fuck.
Yeah, that whole last scene's great. It's like
It's just insane.
the perfect rom-com scene in my opinion.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
It's so off the wall and zany, but like there's just so much like genuine like
Yeah.
emotion in there.
Mhm.
It's like this is perfect.
Yeah, like you
rom-com
wouldn't see
material.
that in a normal rom-com, would you? Because it's always like it's always a bit twee in it. It's always like
Yeah.
you can't do that in a rom-com. You can't have the brother propose to the sister. It doesn't make it sister the other lady. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, how many rom-coms can you think of that are like basically entirely about infidelity? Very rare.
Mm.
None.
I don't think I've seen that like topic tackled in quite this way.
It's a very strange way of tackling it because it feels kind of like nothing. It feels kind of normal. Not normal,
It
but
does
like
feel quite relaxed.
yeah, it doesn't feel very. You're
There's
at
nothing like
stakes of losing
earth-shattering
your.
coming
Yeah,
down from
that's
like
what I mean.
the
Yeah,
decision to cheat on your fiance.
yeah, it didn't come across like that. It just was
Ultimately, it was
like
sort of the right thing to do. But I was also thinking,
Yeah.
well, you know, without being his fiance, you never would have met his brother who you fell in love with.
Yeah, true.
That's quite strange.
Yeah, like it.
I guess it kind of had to happen that way.
Yeah, because like it's technically like a really scumbaggy kind of movie, but at the same time, you don't feel like it's a scumbaggy kind of movie. You feel like everything is kind of just, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I feel like my morals are questionable right now.
Exactly. I think in Cher's situation, it's like I don't think Johnny liked her too much, and she openly says, "I don't love him."
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think either of
Yeah.
them liked each other.
So that's like very excusable, and you do end up rooting for her to get with Nick Cage because you're like, no, that's where the genuine connection is.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's
not
just the way it
ability.
happened. Is
Yeah.
just it's not ideal.
But like when the dad's cheating on her mum,
That felt sad.
yeah,
A little
that was
bit,
sad.
yeah.
And it was like, but I think it tackles like, again, in most rom-coms, it's like young people only exclusively.
Yeah.
But like with this, it like kind of dissects what it's like to be in a 51-year marriage. You know what I mean? Like, you probably
So
so
good, yeah.
bored with your other half.
Oh,
at some
God,
point.
yeah.
Like, 51 years together, that's mental.
Yeah,
That is mental.
you definitely
Unfathomable.
would get
Yeah.
bored.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously, it's not right to cheat. But I think even the mum in that scene where she's like, I don't want you to see her anymore. Like, she doesn't lose her head. She's just like, no, like, we're husband and wife.
Yeah.
Like, you've had your fun. Now,
Yeah.
you're gonna settle
But we
down.
built up this relationship over 50 years. Like, it's
Mm.
insane.
Wow.
Yeah. I love that scene where like he comes home and she doesn't know where he's been. She's like, "Where have you been?" And he's like, I don't know where I've been. And she's like, "I want you to know that no matter what you do, you're going to die like everyone else."
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell, man. She's great. I'll be like, that would turn me on so much.
I do find it interesting that Cher won Best Actress for this at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I do think she's really good, but I don't know if I'd say she's that good.
I don't think it was anything special.
Well, 87.
Like to warrant
what else
an Oscar.
came out in 87?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, good point. Yeah,
But I
look at
think-
what else came out, to be fair. That's
Shit,
fair.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Because of the shit year.
I think her mother, Olympia Dukakis, is better in the
I
movie.
agree, yeah. I think that's a better performance.
I love that name. It's amazing. Yeah, she was like I said, she was my favourite, but she was barely. You know, like, she wasn't in that much.
I haven't seen any of the other Best Actress nominations that
Maybe
year.
that'll be why.
The 80s.
Anyone we know though, apart from the
It was,
like,
Stacked.
Glenn Close for Fatal Attraction, Holly Hunter for Broadcast News, Sally Kirkland for Anna, and Meryl Streep for Ironweed.
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 I've never heard of that movie.
I am weed.
I am weed.
Ironweed. Jack Nicholson and Meryl Streep.
Nice, yeah.
Add that to the watch list.
Like in the
I am
opening
weed.
scenes where like me and Kai were just like, being in love is cringe.
Yeah. It is the most cringe thing you do.
Yeah,
I
Shit.
stand by that.
straight up. You guys are like devastatingly like
Imagine saying you love someone. Ugh.
horrible. Oh god, those shivers going down my spine.
Oh,
just thinking about it,
no.
man.
We're being outed on the pod, Chris. Look, he's got nothing to say.
Because they agree.
Yeah.
They know it's cringe.
but they accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Who, us? Oh yeah, I already know everything I do is cringe. I don't need to be told. Look, he's not saying anything. He's just nodding. I'm scared.
Sometimes you have to be
relationships are kinda
cringe,
cringe.
to be based.
Yeah, that's true.
About time, baby.
maybe cringe is true love.
Maybe.
You can be cringe with someone. That's true love. And
That was also a
Yeah.
bit cringe. Do I love you?
the cringe people yet, Max.
Maybe eventually.
For that cringe.
This is making me
When
cringe.
you find the cringe, you'll know,
Yeah.
and it'll be exactly like Moonstruck.
That is true. It's actually not love. It's just
when
cringe.
you meet your future husband in the basement of a bakery, and he looks quite like that. That's when you know.
Basically, you're not in love until you've met Nick Cage.
It does. What is fake?
I actually,
My brother never talks to me.
when he pulled off that fucking glove, I nearly lost it because it wasn't even the fact that he didn't have a hand. It was just the fact that he said this wood is fake. Like, what do you mean this wood is fake?
I think he means his hand is fake.
Yeah, but why?
The wood was wood, surely.
No, but did he?
No, it
I swear he
wasn't.
said
One
this
real
wood is
wood.
fake.
Yeah,
And I
he
was
says,
like, what did you
"This
mean?
wood
by that?"
is fake.
Yeah, what did he
Like, what?
mean?
It's really, it's the same scene, but he's in full on Nicolas Cage ramp mode at that point, and he just thrusts his hand in the air. He's like, "My hand, my bride."
Oh, yeah.
It's just like-
I lost my love. My friend. He's so good. I would just fight anyone who said Nick Cage shit now. I think I would. I think I would fight to
Yeah.
the death for Nick
He
Cage.
is really good in this.
Almost too good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. Although he does literally look like a gremlin in this movie, like legitimately gremlin.
Yeah, it makes it better.
It
Makes
does
the movie
actually.
better.
It suits him. Not in Joe Rogers. This movie.
He looks like a freak. Oh, I love it.
That's another thing I don't like about modern rom-coms. Everyone is too perfect.
What,
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
too
Yeah.
perfect, yeah.
It's fucked. It's like
It's not real, is
relate
it?
to these people because look at them.
Yeah, because it's
not even modern rom-coms, just modern movies.
Because it's
Yeah.
Florence Pugh and Harry Styles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no interesting face
Get out
in
of here.
Hollywood anymore.
Yeah.
Everyone's like
Mm,
so picture perfect. It's
Mm.
like
yeah.
you're just all so bland and boring at this point. Like, look at Nicolas Cage in this. Look at Cher in this.
Look at
Like,
them.
God, yeah.
Gremlin.
lovely people with good faces.
Yeah, but
Just
they're not
are, yeah.
perfect, are they? They're just...
Exactly. No
There.
interesting faces.
like
That's what I
they're
want to see.
attractive,
Yeah.
but they're not like Florence Pugh and Harry style.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like almost unachievable.
Yeah.
Then people aren't real. I used to believe that either Florence or Harry are real people.
That is what gets me about modern cinema. I
What,
think
that
it is
no
very
one is
boring
real?
and everyone's just too attractive.
Yeah.
Like, very glossy and there's no cracks there.
Yeah, why can't people just be like good actors, but like not be very attractive? It just seems more believable, doesn't it? Like I'm looking at these movies and I'm like, another pretty person in a movie.
Yeah.
Because that's not something you can relate to as a person with flaws and, a human features and attributes, which these people clearly don't seem to have.
Apparently not.
Yeah. We don't get a lot of good rom-coms nowadays anyway.
They're all really cringe,
Yeah,
but not
barely
even
any, I would
cringe in a
say.
true love kind of way. Cringe in a I hate this with all of my being cringe. To be fair, most rom-coms are cringe, to be honest. I'm not
Yeah.
too hot into them unless it's about time, which is the best rom-com.
Yeah, I watched that the other day.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
I was trying to think of like
see.
modern rom-coms that I like, and that's like one of the
See.
only few.
Donald Gleeson, right? He's not the most attractive man, but I love that man with all of my heart and soul because I fancy the shit out of him.
Because he's a weird little freak.
Yeah.
Because he is. Oh,
He's just too.
he's a little ginger gremlin boy, and I love
too,
him.
like classic British. You know what I mean? Like there's that whole group of them. It's like him, Benedict Cumberbatch, Eddie Redmayne. I'm like, it's just boring.
Oh, Eddie, nah, not
Yeah.
for me, mate.
Also-
Eddie's not for me.
Well spoken, and I wish you weren't. I wish
To be
you
fair, I
Yeah.
don't really like Cucumber Patch either too much, to be honest.
cute. Oh,
Yeah.
Not a big fan.
that threw me then.
No, Matt Smith's grown on me a little bit, but I don't find him attractive. I just think as an actor, he's definitely grown on me.
Yeah.
Which I hate to say out loud because he was in the Morbius movie and apparently that was hilarious.
Yeah, but so was Jared Leto.
Yeah, but he's like,
Yeah, but he's sad.
yeah, but he's
What
also,
are you talking about?
he's like
No,
the sexiest
he's
man
all right.
alive, but he's also insane. So there's those people though, isn't there? Like the people who are so attractive, but like you don't want to go near them because they're insane. Jared Leto's in that category.
Yeah.
Like
Because they're
look-
insane and they don't shower.
Yeah, like don't go. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, like apparently he don't shower, so you don't go near him. But he's
Yeah.
also pretty hot. So like, I don't know what you want
I
me to tell
wouldn't go
you.
near any of these people.
No, it's terrifying. The thought of it. Like, give me I can't think. I can't think of anyone normal. There's like no one normal in these movies to make me
There
go.
aren't, no.
I'd hang out with you, Colin Farrell. Maybe if he went, let's go to the pub.
Yeah.
I'd go. All right, Colin, we go to the pub.
Go to the pub with Brendan Gleeson.
I would go
Yeah.
to the pub with Brendan Gleeson. He's a geezer, and I'd be like, "Can you bring your son, please?" And that would be the end of it. It'd be
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
Love movies so much, but I would never talk to any of these people.
Is Brendan Gleeson Donald Gleeson's dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yes, that
Mhm.
man birthed a beautiful ginger soul.
Wow.
Yes. No, he did birth him. Why
Okay,
did I
like
say
a bit
that?
more now.
Yeah. Yeah, you
To
do.
be fair, I didn't know that until I watched, I think it was Ex Machina, and Chris went, "You know he's related to Brendan Gleeson." And I was like, "Who the fuck is Brendan Gleeson?" And then it kind of all
And
fell
now
into
we all
place.
know.
I think I found out when Donald Gleeson was on Off Menu.
Yeah. Oh, Gleeson. That rings a bell. I guess that makes sense.
To be fair, I
Yeah.
didn't
never
put them together.
Yeah, I just never did.
No,
I
'cause
didn't
they don't-
realise he was Irish. I thought he was
Who?
Donald. I thought he was,
He's
Brit-
Irish.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a very Irish
his
name, to be
dad's
fair.
Irish, right? Or is he
Yes.
not? Yeah, so why would he not be at least half
I have
Irish?
to retract all my previous statements about him being like a Benedict Cumberbatch. And
Mm.
He's not, I'm telling you.
He's Irish.
That man is made different, bruv. That I just
take it.
love him. He's like, for me, he's like underrated. Like I've not seen him in a lot of things, but
We'll
I
take
love
it all
him a
back,
lot.
Donald. You're amazing and we love you. Let's rate Moonstruck.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot we were even talking about Moonstruck. I'm too busy thinking about Donald fucking Gleeson now. All right, go on.
What we're in this one out of?
Pizza pies.
There is no pizza pies in this
That's
movie.
The
amore.
song. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, the one that I was
That's
singing for like an
amore.
hour. Yeah,
Stuck in my head the whole night.
Yeah, so I was like literally singing it as I was like putting on my shoes as I was sitting in the toilet. Like this is just my life now.
Yeah. They don't make them like these anymore.
And then
No.
he just puts the rating
Yeah,
in. He's
don't
like,
think so. No.
this is it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm glad I watched it. I could see this being one that I turn to like after a really shit day,
Mm.
or if I'm just in a
Mm.
bad mood. Just feels like a proper like feel good pick me up movie. I think. I give it 8 pizza pies out of 10.
Yeah, nice. Nice. And I just love how Cher didn't give a single fuck about Johnny's dying mother. Like, not even slightly. Love that. Great movie. One of the great Nick Cage movies. Give it 8 pizza pies out of 10.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I will probably watch again. 8 pizza pies out of 10.
Yes, 4 for 4. I'm going 8 pizza pies.
Woo!
Nice. Nice. Awesome. Cheers for that, Kai.
Nice.
That was a great week.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Full of stuff.
Yeah, give me another. Oh, wait, hold on. Kai, we've obviously figured out.
shit.
We figured out your order, but can you tell us so we can confirm?
So you guys tell me who you thought was
All right.
for who.
All right, so me and
I
Max done this already.
I think we all think the same way, but I think the first one, by process of elimination, I thought was for Chris. Mean Streets, I thought was for me because Chris had already seen Mean Streets, and there's no way you'd recommend Darcy Mean Streets. And I guess Moonstruck was for Darcy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I instantly thought that movie was for me because the second I saw Nick Cage and Cher, I thought, that is me. That's
great.
That is me.
I saw you before I picked these films. You were talking a lot about Nick Cage. Do you know what Nick Cage film I fucking love? And then, I was like, Chris, I think you'd like Rocco and His Brothers.
Yeah.
I think that's like a very Chris film. I also think it's a very you film.
Yeah, I think so.
But I was like, Mean Streets is for Max because
He hasn't seen it.
I kind of want to like...
You want to get him into the Scorsese, do you?
Yeah.
I want to like Scorsese pill you.
Okay.
Like,
Oh my
I'm
god.
fine with that.
Foundations and then see if it gets you into like, I wonder what he did after this. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
accomplished.
There's a lot
I like
of pressure if you come back on the podcast now because every time you've picked a marathon, they've all been great movies.
I'll take
No, the pressure will be whether this episode lives to even hear Kai's
that's true.
beautiful
I still
recommendation.
think I fucked up with Rocco and His Brothers being the first film.
No.
That's fine. The ordering was
I mean,
perfect.
to be honest, that was also kind of our fault because we were going to change it around, and then I said no at the last minute. So
But no, I'm glad
It's
you guys
whatever.
enjoyed it.
I think it's best to
Yeah.
start off with a movie like this.
I liked ending on
do you
Moonstruck.
know what? Upon reflection, it had to be first because I don't think I could have watched 2 films and then sat through that one last.
True.
Even though it's the same length, there's something different when you switch them around, right?
We had to like take a walk after
Yeah.
seeing Rocco and His Brothers. We like went to the shop.
I didn't even really, to get paracetamol, I didn't really need to go to the shop. I was like, I have to just leave.
Cool. So for episode, the next one we're going to do is just spin a wheel, and they'll tell us what we're going to watch on the next one.
Yeah.
Do that first?
You announcing your show? Did you want to do that first?
No, I'll do mine after.
That's
Okay.
because I told Max, oh, well, what, your show? And he was like, oh, yeah. So I think he's still deciding.
Okay.
That noise.
Oh boy, what's it going to be?
I don't like it when Chris does that face.
It's come up with Taika Waititi movies.
No.
No.
What is the point in
I'm
this
glad
wheel?
I
There's
was also
absolutely
thinking
We've
no...
gone through too many like director specials, actor specials.
Recently, anyway.
Recently.
Definitely a recent.
Let's do something else.
Why are you he's laughing.
No, it's another one, isn't it?
No.
Oh,
What?
American Pie.
fucking hell.
God.
Do you know what? I was actually talking to someone the other week at work. They were like, "You never seen American Pie?" No, and now
How many of those are there?
There's 3, but there's like 5
no,
in
there's
there.
4.
Do we
I
have to
wanna
watch all
watch
4? No, let's watch 3. No,
Well,
let's watch
there's
3.
4 with the original cast, but there's also like 2 others with.
Alpha
There's like
Omega
5
and that.
others.
Yeah.
There's like 5 or 6 direct-to-DVD
Is there
ones.
only Strifflers in it? Those ones.
I don't know.
Why don't you
Jesus.
just watch the first 3?
Wow, interested in seeing these. I haven't seen any of those. Okay, so American Pie trilogy, maybe quadrilogy. We'll see how it goes.
It's probably going to be
I
trilogy.
already know that we're not going to watch 4.
Yeah. I have to recommend a season 1 of a show for episode 115, so we have time to watch it for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pick one. It's probably not much of a shock. We can all watch it. It's on Netflix, so very easy access. It's called The OA.
Yeah,
This is
Yeah,
one that I
like, I think Max has been
really
telling us
trying
what's
to
that
get
for
you
about
guys
a
to watch
I think
million
we
for a
both
while.
could have predicted that.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, I think we both predicted that.
Yeah. Hey, I ain't here to be original. I'm just here to get shit done.
That's true.
I can't even fight it, can't fight that.
Okay, we're on social media. Do that. YouTube, The Sunday Movie Marathon. Instagram at Sunday Movie Pod. Twitter at Sunday Movie Pod. I barely use it. Facebook at Sunday Movie Marathon. Letterboxd at Sunday MM, capital S, capital MM. Yeah, go do that. If you don't have a Letterboxd account, make one and then follow us on there.
Woo!
Also, subscribe, rate the podcast 5 stars. Get your grandma to listen to it.
What?
Get your grandma's dog to listen to it. And, I think they'll really like it. Thank you, Kai, for being on this episode and making us watch some movies again.
That's all right. No, I enjoy doing this. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Come
Thank you for having me.
come
back
back
anytime.
every time.
Come back for American
Come
Pie.
back every time.
I'll give American Pie a miss.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Can we give American Pie?
Yeah.
We're all gagging for it now.
I feel quite ill. Don't think I'm gonna make it.
I think we made a mistake.
Cool. American Pie next time, and then the OA season 1 the time after that. Great stuff. Any last words?
I'm sad we're watching American Pie.
Yeah. Me too.
I've actually got. Has anyone actually seen American Pie?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
I bet you
You've
have.
seen
You
it? No,
freak.
I've seen that Alpha House or
I've,
whatever it's called.
Actually, no, I've not seen them all. There's one direct-to-DVD movie that came out a couple of years ago. I've not watched that one. I've seen all the others, all like 10 of them or whatever there is.
Why is there so many of them?
You have the DVDs.
No.
Well, you're gonna.
Yeah.
Can you stream it?
No.
No one.
Nobody wants them. No one wants them.
No one wants
Do they?
them. Okay, sure.
Goodbye.
Are we still recording? What the fuck?